Hello, everybody. Merry movie theaters and Chinese food, everybody. Merry movies and Mushu pork. Just some guy, thank you for the $5. Or marry whatever TF you care about, brother. Jesus, dude, it's Christmas, go spend time with your family. I'm not Christian. It's just another day. A day off, but it's another day. It's actually not a day off, but... Did you have cozy morning? Not really, it's kind of cold outside. It rained. Howdy, howdy, everybody. Welcome, welcome. We're just getting started today. Make sure to like the live streams, tap that screen, and if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to press that thumbs up, get more people in here. Is that the same guy who said that? I'm not Christian. Today is not an important holiday to me. It's not even a holiday. Sorry. Go spend time with your family, dude. It's Christmas. Like, not everybody celebrates Christmas, my guy. You don't have to celebrate it to respect it. Why do I have to respect it? Like, it's not like a person. I mean, like, if people want to celebrate it, by all means, go ahead. If it's important to them, by all means. But, like, I don't have to, like, do something about it, right? All right, we have a first guest anyway. Let's talk to Jaden. Oops. All right, looks like Jaden's not loading in. Ah, there they are. Jaden, how's it going? Jaden, can you hear me?
Oh, hey.
Jaden, howdy. How's it going?
Good, and you?
I'm doing all right. Do you believe in a God, Jaden?
Okay. Yes. What's your name again?
You can call me Blitz.
Oh, what?
You can call me Blitz.
Okay, Blitz. I can see here you say you're an atheist, right?
Yep.
Can I ask why is it that you're an atheist?
I haven't really heard any compelling arguments that would make me think that there is such a God thing. I'm answering your question. I don't know why you're interrupting me. So I haven't particularly heard any compelling arguments. So yeah, I mean, like, if you have any compelling arguments, I'm happy to hear them.
Okay, Blitz, you know the Burj Khalifa, right?
Yeah, really, really tall building.
The skyscraper in Dubai.
I'm very familiar with it, yeah.
Skyscraper. So Blitz, if I point at a skyscraper and say,
I think that there's some delay,
no one
Jaden.
built it, it just appeared.
I'm gonna count to 3. I want you to say 4 when you hear me say 3, okay? 1, 2, 3.
Forward.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, Jaden. The delay is enormous. That was like 4-second delay. It's just going to be really hard to have a conversation that way. If you can fix your internet, or if you can, you know, reboot your machine so that there's not a delay there, that's great. I'd love to talk with you, but until then, we should probably just skip, because it'll be really hard to have a conversation. Molly. Shh. That's a name. Let's talk to I have committed war crimes. Oh, and they left. Okay, we're good. Oh. I believe I've spoken with, well, maybe Jaden's connection is better again. Jaden, do you think it's maybe better?
Hey, yeah, I think it's better. Can you hear me clearly now?
Yeah, it was just that there was a really big delay between me saying something and you hearing it.
Yeah, I can see it now.
Okay, but it seems like it's a lot better now. So you were saying something about the Burj Khalifa, Jaden?
Yes, since you are an atheist, right? So you believe in science and everything, and you believe in the Big Bang and evolution, correct?
Sure, yeah.
So what made you to become an atheist, if I may ask? What led you to become?
I just haven't heard any particularly compelling evidence to convince me to believe that there is a God. So, like, I'm willing to hear the evidence that you have, but otherwise I'm just not going to believe in it.
Okay, Blitz, if I point at a skyscraper and I tell you that no one built it, it just appeared, would you believe me?
I mean, probably not, but that's because I know how construction works. I know what goes into making a skyscraper. So this is something that I have background knowledge on. So I'd probably think, oh, okay, well, so, there was a guy who, probably a team of people actually who built it.
Yeah, you weren't there when they built it, but just from looking at it, you can tell that there was a builder, correct?
No, it's not just from looking at it. It's from looking at it combined with the background knowledge I have, right? I have background knowledge about how buildings work.
So that's the same thing about the human body. If you look at the human body, right, everything in the human body aligns, everything works together to make a human body function, from the vision to the way you speak to breathing, everything aligns. So you want to tell me that all that just happened because of a big explosion, a big bang, and science itself says that non-existence cannot lead to existence.
Well, hold on. Before we move on to that, because that's a separate conversation. The Big Bang wasn't an explosion, first of all. Second, the way that I figure out if something was built or created by something is by looking at the properties of the thing combined with my background knowledge on the thing, right? So it's not enough for something to just look a certain way. I have to have background knowledge about things that look that way. For example, when I see a painting, the reason I know a painting has a painter is because I know what a painting is. I know how paintings work. I know how paintings are made. I've seen videos of people producing paintings. When I look at, a car, I know that a car has a designer and a manufacturer because I've watched videos of cars being assembled in factories. When I look at the universe, or I look at the human body, have you ever seen a God creating a human? No, you don't have that background knowledge. So we don't really have any reason to think that this would necessarily have been created by some being.
You said, have I seen God create a human being, right? Okay, do you believe that NASA went to the moon? Let's start there.
Hold on, to be clear, is this going to answer the question, or is this going to be like a completely random?
Answer the question. It's going to.
Okay, yeah, sure.
It's part of the topic.
Okay, yeah, sure. Believe, yes, right? Yeah. I think that the moon landing happened. No, but I've seen videos of it. I don't have to have been there. I've seen videos of it.
Evidence.
Yeah, right. I've seen evidence. And in particular, I've seen things like the rocket. Well, it was a copy of the rocket that they used to get there. They have one on display. I've seen rocks brought back from the moon. it's not just I looked at the moon and it looked like someone had landed there. I had explicit evidence, right?
Yes. Yeah, evidence. It's all about evidence and proof, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, basically.
Okay. But you weren't there. You just NASA provided you with proof that we went to the moon, but you weren't there. But because of the
Right.
proof, you believe it. Exactly.
Yep.
So that's the same thing with Christianity. When you when you lie to someone, when you steal, do you feel a certain way? Do you feel happy or do you feel sad? Do you
Well,
hate yourself
I don't
for
think I've
stealing
ever
from someone?
stolen. I don't think I've ever stolen from someone.
What
Maybe
about
when I was
any
a
sin
child,
that
but I
you've ever
remember that.
committed? You've
Oh.
lied, right?
I don't. Yeah, sure, absolutely, I've lied.
So when you lie to someone, how does that exactly make you feel?
It really depends. Like, I usually don't lie in cases where I know it's like not for a good reason, and so like I don't usually feel remorse because it was for a good reason.
Well,
Like for example, if somebody's and this hasn't happened, but like if somebody was on their deathbed and they were asking me, "Am I gonna see you soon?" I would just say yeah, because it'll make them feel better, even if I know it's not true.
Okay.
Like, why would I feel bad about that?
Okay, on your deathbed. I've seen many cases where a person says that they're an atheist, but when they encounter, I've seen there are a lot of atheists that I've met in my lifetime, right? And they said to me that they don't believe in God or anything, but when when they experience problems in life and challenges in life, they kneel down and they pray. So I asked
Okay,
you said
that's
you're an
cool
atheist,
for
you don't
them.
believe in
I've never
nothing.
done that.
Why are you praying? So you've
I
never
don't.
experienced okay, so that's how Christianity comes. NASA said that they went to the moon. They explained. They provided proof. So
We're all over the place. What's the evidence for God
okay. Yeah,
existing?
it's all over the place. That just as Christianity is all over the place.
What's the evidence for God existing?
Okay. Have you ever seen in a church, right? They pray for someone that that the doctor says to someone, "You can't ever walk again," and then that person goes to church. They are healed, and then they're able to walk again. I've seen that miracle on my own, and that is
I'm
led
sure.
me to believe
I'm
that
sure
this
that's very
information
convincing to
exists.
you. It's not very convincing to me because I know spontaneous remissions are a thing that
How so?
exist, and I've never really seen particularly compelling evidence that this is a thing that like happens in a reliable way. Like spontaneous
What
remission
makes
is a thing
you-
that's well understood. Like spontaneous, I shouldn't say it's well understood. It's well documented, and it happens whether or not there's prayer. So like, it's just not particularly compelling.
Okay, so you want that's the thing about evidence. We've seen evidence of Jesus, like evidence about
We're
the
jumping all over
supernatural
the
world.
place. We can't stay on one thing. You'll bring up one thing,
No,
I'll respond to
I'm
it, and then you'll
trying
just switch to a
to-
different topic. I mean, it's fine, I guess, but continue.
Okay, I'm trying to lead you to Jesus, right?
I
And
suppose.
the one thing I can tell you is that so you as an atheist, where do you believe that we go when we die as an
I don't think
atheist?
we go anywhere.
do
I
you-
think it's lights off.
Or like you just cease to your mind, just like when you're asleep, you don't feel nothing, you don't see nothing, right?
I think it's different than sleep, because when you're sleeping, you can dream, you can be woken up, you have some sense of awareness.
Okay. So you believe
I
it's
don't
just
think it's like
lights
that.
out.
I think it's like what it was like before you were born.
Oh, nothing.
Yeah.
So you don't believe in heaven, hell?
No.
So if I were to ask you, are you perfect?
No.
Yeah, no one is perfect, exactly. Which means that if I'm wrong about hell and uh, there is no heaven, there is no hell, I'll never know because what will happen to me after I die, it'll be like before I was born. So, but if you're wrong about heaven and hell, that means that you don't believe in Jesus, you go to hell. What do you think that means for you?
Yeah, I mean, if it is true that if Jesus is real and I'm wrong, then I might go to hell, depending on your preferred Christianity. Have you heard of atheismo?
Atheismo?
Yeah.
What is that exactly?
Atheismo is a very small religion, or it's a god of a very small religion. But in this small religion, they believe that if atheismo exists, and that if you believe in atheismo, you go to the worst possible hell imaginable. And if you don't believe in any gods, sorry, if you believe in a god, you go to the worst possible hell imaginable. But if you don't believe in any gods, you go to heaven. So now you're at risk. You're at risk for going to atheismo hell.
Wow, that is so. Are you so it's different from atheism. Atheism, they're not the same thing as being an atheist, right?
Well, I mean, atheismo only sends atheists to heaven.
So, have you researched all religions, and then all of them, they don't give you that peace, and then you just decided,
Wait,
you know what?
but aren't you worried about atheismo hell?
No, I'm not worried about anything because
But if atheismo is real and you believe in God, then you're gonna go experience the worst possible hell imaginable.
No, I don't believe in that thing.
Well, yeah, I know. But you believe in a God, and if atheismo is real and you're wrong that atheismo isn't real, then you would end up in the worst possible hell imaginable.
Okay, but atheismo doesn't exactly make sense. Believing in something?
Oh, but what if you're wrong? I thought nobody was perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Listen to me, ne? I'm not perfect. Being a Christian.
Yeah, so you could be wrong about atheismo not existing.
But atheism doesn't make sense. Christianity is what makes sense to me.
But you could be wrong about that, right? You could be wrong about that, and so you should be worried that you might go to atheismo hell. I thought you said nobody's perfect, so you could be wrong.
For me I've seen the power of God with my own eyes.
Oh, okay, so you're telling me you couldn't be wrong about this? I thought you said nobody was perfect.
I can't be wrong about Christianity. Listen, just let me finish. I can't be wrong about Christianity because for me to be a Christian, I prayed for this friend of mine. She said that she struggled from heart problems. And then I knelt down. I wasn't even a believer at that moment, but I was like, she's my friend. Let me just try. And then I tried and I prayed for her. And then she comes to me after a week or so and says, the doctor told me that I'm going to become better, and it's actually a miracle that I'm going to heal because this disease was supposed to be with me for my entire life. And that's what led me to God.
Well, I'm happy for you. I'm happy that worked for you, but I thought you said that, nobody's perfect, so we could be wrong about stuff.
Nobody's perfect in the of sin. You know what sin is, right?
Oh, okay. So then why did you bring up nobody's perfect about me possibly being wrong?
Yes. I mean, when I say nobody's perfect, I don't mean about.
So
listen,
Jaden,
when I say
then I'm just not worried about Christian. I'm just not worried about Christian hell because I know I'm not wrong about it.
Yes. When I say nobody's perfect, I'm not talking about like wrong or right. I'm talking about sins.
Okay. That's fine. I'm just not worried about Christian hell.
That is what I'm telling you. That every human being is born hellbound and separated from God.
Oh, but I'm not worried about it because I know that that's not real.
Let me finish. Let me explain to you my what Christianity is about.
I'm quite familiar with what Christianity is about. But I'm just not worried about Christian hell because I know it's not real.
Let me finish. Every human being is born hellbound and separated from God, right? That is why you need to.
Wait a minute. Do babies go to hell? Do babies go to hell?
No, they don't go to hell.
So then they're not born hellbound.
Listen. Babies are born hellbound, but because they have not committed any sin, right? We're talking about
born hellbound, babies. That means that they're bound to go to hell.
No,
that's what hellbound means.
A baby,
that's what the word means.
If a baby dies, it means that they never got a chance to accept sin, and
so then they weren't hellbound.
Listen. Let me finish. The standard for heaven is perfection, and since a baby has never had an evil thought, they've never committed sin. That means that they are perfect, and
so then they're not hellbound.
But for you and us, no, you are hellbound.
No. If you're born hellbound, that means that you're bound to go to hell from the moment you're born. That's what born hellbound means.
Yes, you're born hellbound, but if you live a full life.
So what you're telling me is that from the moment you're born, you're bound to go to hell. It seems pretty straightforward.
No, it's not straightforward like that.
So you're telling me babies are not born hellbound? So you're telling me that babies are not born hellbound?
No, every human being is born hellbound. But listen, they're hellbound.
Can we agree on what hellbound means?
Huh?
Can we agree on what it means to be born hellbound? I would imagine that means that from the moment you're born, you are bound to go to hell. Is that true?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so from the moment you're born, that includes babies. Babies famously are born, which would mean that they are bound to go to hell, right?
Yes, if only if you live to adulthood without accepting Jesus. So let
Oh,
me
okay, so
explain
they're not
first.
born
Let me
hellbound.
give you.
It's not
Listen,
guaranteed that they
give
go to
me
hell
a
if they
chance
don't
to
accept
explain to you.
Jesus.
You're not giving me a chance to explain.
Well, you
You're
could just
interrupting
admit
me,
that you
and I'm not explaining
misspoke. That
to
would
you.
be good.
No, I didn't misspeak. Please
Okay,
give me a
whatever you
chance.
say.
You're not giving me
We'll
a
let the
chance to
audience
explain
decide. Go
myself.
ahead.
Okay, yes. So when I say that every baby is born hellbound, I don't mean in the context of if you die as a child. No, I mean that every baby is born hellbound in the context of if you live until adulthood and you die without accepting Jesus, meaning that you have to pay for the sins that you committed. Your sins are what send you to hell. So since a baby didn't commit any sin and a baby never had thoughts of sinning or anything, they can go to heaven because that means they are perfect. They never committed sin. But if you're a baby and you live until adulthood without because we can all agree on one thing, right? No human being can live on this earth without committing any sin
No, I
except
don't
for
think that
Jesus.
sins are
Jesus is the
like a
only.
real thing, so I'm not like that's
No,
not part of
sins
my
are a real
worldview.
thing. Sins
That's
are a
not
real
part of my
thing.
worldview.
They are.
I mean, you can keep asserting
are.
that, but like you'd have to prove that God exists first. But anyway, so
You
look,
can't.
do we just
Let me
think
explain.
that
I'm
words
still
don't mean
explaining.
words?
Don't stop me while I'm still explaining. So
Look,
the
nobody
reason
is
why,
like this is not new. I've heard this 100 times before.
okay, meaning even if you're a good person on this earth, right, and
Did you hear? Like, I
you're
don't
a
need you
good
to
person.
preach to me. Like, I know what your view is. So
Okay,
look,
so
here's
your
here's
view
an
is
important question.
okay.
Here's a really important question that you should answer. What is the age of accountability in your view?
The age of accountability.
Yeah, like
I believe that
when can someone
is
start
the
going
age
to
when
hell?
you start to know the
No, I'm
difference
asking what the
between
number is.
yes, that's what I'm telling you.
How old is it?
The age of maturity from 13 and above. That's when you're
Okay,
mature enough to
so
know that this is bad. This is
okay, so then in light of that, suppose that you have a pair of identical twins, right? One is born
yes.
at 11:59 p.m. On say January 1st, and the other one is born at 12:01 a.m. on January 2nd, right? And neither of them accept Jesus, right? And right before, right when they would turn 13, so a minute before one of them turns 13 and a minute after the other one turns 13, they both are in a horrible car accident. They're both killed instantly. Neither of them believed in Jesus. But are you telling me that the one that was 13 already goes to hell and the one that wasn't goes to heaven?
No, when I mean 13, I mean to the point where you are mature, when you have a mature mind and you know that no, this is a sin and this is not. So the exact age, right? I can't be sure. It starts when you have a mature mind and you know the difference between this and that. So children are innocent to a concept where a child can sin without knowing, so they won't be held accountable. But me and you, for example, you know that Christians are going to be punished more in hell. Lukewarm Christians are going to be punished more in hell. You know that.
Well, I'm a little bit confused now. So like, it seems like it seems like it's possible that somebody could live a full life and die and never be mentally mature enough to be punished to go to hell. Do you think that that's true?
Exactly. So if you're never, let's say for example,
So
someone
who decides?
like for example, if someone, for example, God is going to judge you based on the sins that you committed. But if someone, for example, a crazy person, right? They don't have a mature mind. They can't accept Jesus. And even when they sin, let me finish. Even when they sin, they won't know that they sin. So if you're a crazy person from the time you're born to the time you die, you can't be held accountable for anything.
So are you telling me that are you telling me that that person is not born hellbound?
No, they were born hellbound.
No, but they lived a full life.
But yes, they lived a full life, but because they weren't sane. They were not sane. Meaning
okay, so wait a minute.
Unlike you,
what do you mean by hellbound then?
I can tell the difference between good and bad, but an insane person.
What do you mean? What do you mean by hellbound? Like by hellbound, do you mean that they are bound to go to hell?
Yes, because we are separated from God.
Wait, can you explain what it means for someone to be hellbound?
To be hellbound, it means that we cannot enter heaven through perfection. Because every human being, if you live a full life, you cannot enter heaven through perfection because no human being can be perfect. We have the seed of sin. So we cannot be perfect if you live a full life, and you cannot enter heaven through perfection. So you must be covered in someone else's moral perfection, and
Wait,
that is
I'm
the
sorry.
blood of Jesus.
So the question is not about how you can stop being hellbound. The question is what it means to be hellbound.
Yeah, to be hellbound means that you are going to hell if you don't accept Jesus. You're going to be held accountable for your sins.
Except somebody who was crazy their whole life, they're not going to hell, even though they don't accept Jesus. They lived an entire life.
Yes, because they weren't
so that
saved.
means in order to be hellbound, it like if hellbound means anything, if that phrase means anything, then it means that if you change nothing, then you'll end up in hell. Right? But the crazy person who changes nothing, who never believes in Jesus, who changes nothing their entire life, they don't end up in hell. So it's just not true that they were hellbound.
No, they were hellbound, but because...
How were they hellbound if there was no chance of them ever ending up in hell?
Every human, because they have the seed of sin.
But there was never a chance of them ending up in hell. Do words just not mean words?
No, I'm telling you the truth. Because
I think you're confused.
If I'm born, right? No,
I think you're stuck on dogma, and you can't say, "Oh, well, that person's not hellbound because they didn't have a possibility of going to hell."
No, they were hellbound, but because they were not.
When did they stop being hellbound?
They couldn't tell the difference between sinning and being holy. So
when did they stop being hellbound? When did they stop being hellbound to this crazy person?
That's the thing. They never stopped being hellbound. They never
stopped being hellbound? So they were hellbound their entire life, and yet they somehow ended up in heaven?
Exactly. Yes, because they were saying there was a reason.
So when you say hellbound, you don't mean that you're bound to go to hell. That's just not what you mean.
You are bound. Yes, you are bound to go to hell. But
well, if you're bound to go to hell, then that means that you will go to hell, right? That's what it means to be bound to go to hell.
Unless you're not listening. Unless you are hellbound. Every human being is hellbound.
I don't think words means words.
They accept Jesus, meaning that Jesus
on that cross, we have to just look up words.
The sins of everyone. They died for the sins of everyone, past, present, and future, but only those who accept Him. So maybe we just don't agree. You can't sit there and tell me that you're perfect. You've never sinned.
This is completely unrelated. So I see an issue with the way that you're using these words, and it doesn't seem like it makes a whole lot of sense.
No, you're not.
Maybe this is a
you're not listening. You're not listening.
Like a lack of. Maybe this is a failure to communicate. Right?
No.
Are we?
You're not
failing to communicate here?
You're not listening.
I'm listening very hard. I'm just trying to understand what it means for someone to be hellbound if they're not bound to go to hell.
Hellbound, it means that, listen, you know the full story of Christianity from Adam and Eve, right?
Actually, hold on. Before we do that, can you tell me what it means to be bound to, bound to pay a debt? What does that mean?
It means that we are born with the seed of sin, right?
Okay, I wasn't talking about sin. I was talking about debt.
Throughout our life,
I wasn't talking about sin.
Someone lives...
Why are you changing the topic? I wasn't talking about sin. I was talking about debt.
What are you talking about?
Or if I say that someone is bound to die, what does that mean?
When someone is bound to die, right? It means that,
what does that mean?
According to my understanding, it means that death is inevitable. You cannot run from it. You cannot stop it. It will come no matter what.
Right. So when we say someone is bound for something to happen, we mean that something happening is inevitable, right?
It's inevitable unless in Christianity it's inevitable unless. Yes.
So are you telling me that you can be bound? Are you telling me that being bound to die could mean that your death is inevitable unless something happens?
No.
So can being bound to something also mean that it has exceptions?
No, in the context
if something is bound to happen,
you will go to hell
is it inevitable?
Unless,
okay, so bound in Christianity doesn't mean bound in English. It's just a different word.
Okay, let me put this as simply as I can. I want you to listen, right? So human beings are born with the seed of sin, meaning we cannot enter heaven through perfection, right? Because there's no one that can live a full life from 1 year old to 80 to 90 without committing sin in this world. Am I correct? Has there ever been someone who has never lied, never stole anything, never cheated, never killed? Is there a perfect human being?
Oh my god, I'm muted. That's funny. So I'm not going to answer your questions. You can finish your preaching, and then we can go back to the real question, which is what do you mean by hellbound if by hellbound you don't mean hellbound?
By hellbound, I mean that you are going to, listen, I want you to listen carefully, right?
I've been listening carefully. I think that you're misunderstanding my point, but go ahead.
Okay. So by hellbound, I mean that when you're born, if you live a full life without accepting Jesus, meaning you will have sinned, you will go to hell. So if you live a full life and accept Jesus, it does not mean that you didn't sin. It means that those sins that you committed are already covered by the blood, meaning Jesus died the death that you deserve. That's how it works.
So by hellbound, you just mean that like it's not inevitable that you go to hell.
By hellbound, I mean yes, it's all the only there's one solution to it, not being hellbound.
Okay, great. So you just mean something else besides what the word bound means, but that's fine. I mean, it's like traditional Christianity is just using words in a way that don't mean words, but fine. Okay. The way we got here, if I remember correctly, is that you were saying that I should be worried about hell because, what if I'm wrong? But
yeah, what if you're wrong? Have you thought of that?
I don't think I am wrong, so I'm not worried about it.
You don't think you're wrong? From what perspective? Have you ever went there? Have you ever?
So I know I'm not wrong in the same way that you know you're not wrong about atheismo.
Okay, so I can't convince you the same way you
can try. You can present an argument, but just trying to make me afraid of something is not an argument. Now, it could be.
Fear is not an argument.
It's absolutely not.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to use science.
Please.
Is it true that in science, non-existence does not lead to existence, right? Is it correct?
Science doesn't really talk about non-existence at all.
No, that's it. You can Google it up. That's one of the key points of science. Non-existence does not lead to existence.
I don't think that's a key point in science. I've never read that in a textbook.
So that's what I'm trying to tell you, to say that the same way you.
By the way, I don't think that there is ever non-existence, so that's irrelevant to my worldview.
So the same way you can look at a skyscraper and say, "There's no way that can just appear out of nowhere." It's the same way I look at the human body, and when I analyze it, right, I can see that everything works in alliance. Like everything is connected together. Like everything works together towards a common goal. You have sight, you have scent.
Well, look, I don't think that humans came from nothing. I think that humans evolved.
Evolved from baboons, monkeys, whatever.
Well, no. From other primates, yeah.
So where did those primates come from?
They also evolved from things that are
from what?
From things that lived even longer ago.
And where did those things come from?
Evolution all the way back until you end up at a single cell.
And where did the cell come from?
Complex chemistry.
No, that chemistry won't give an answer exactly. It's still incomplete. It never comes to.
So where do you think the human body came from?
It was created.
Okay, but that's not a complete answer. That's not a complete answer. How was it created?
By God.
Okay, so when I say the cell was created by chemistry, that wasn't an answer. But when you say humans were created by God, that is an answer?
Well, you need the same way. You can agree that a normal person, right, can't build a skyscraper. Exactly, right? Can we agree on that?
A normal person can't build a skyscraper. Oh, I would think that the people who build skyscrapers are normal people.
An ordinary person can't design and build it.
I think that maybe not design, sure.
Exactly. So that's the same way. The human body cannot exist without an intelligent designer.
Oh, now that's a separate claim. Why should I believe that that's true?
No, the human body. Look at the human body.
Just saying look at it isn't particularly compelling. Why should I think that the human body can't exist without a designer?
Intelligent perspective. You can
we have very good understanding of like the process of human evolution, like what humans' most recent ancestors were. We have like a very good idea as to the rate at which human DNA mutates. Like we have very good ideas about all of these things. So it doesn't seem like it needs an intelligent designer in order for humans to evolve from non-human ancestors.
No, if it's an accident, like an accident cannot create something.
Evolution isn't an accident.
As perfect as a human body, an accident, beauty wouldn't exist if.
Why are you strawmanning my view? My view isn't that humans came about via an accident.
What exactly is that? Your argument exactly? Something
It's
just
via
popped up. A cell
evolution.
just popped up. That's the thing about spirituality, right? If you try to base it on science, you'll never understand it. The same way,
Well, I'm not
you could ask
spiritual,
me.
so I'm not worried about that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the problem. You can't, if you try to understand spirituality through calculations, math,
I'm
and
not
everything.
trying
It
to
will never
understand
make sense.
spirituality through calculations. I'm not spiritual. I don't believe in that stuff. So, like, I'm not
Exactly.
trying to understand it through math. I just don't think it's real.
Maybe it's because you haven't experienced the things that we experience from my country. Things such as, do you know what witchcraft is?
I'm familiar with the claims of witchcraft, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm from a country in Africa. So here in Africa, there's a lot of evil people that use it. For example, someone can do witchcraft on you, and it might cause you to be blind. You know that?
I know that that's what people believe.
No, it's not belief. See, a lot of people in Africa, they can tell
I haven't seen compelling evidence that that's the case. So if you
don't
want to
believe,
believe
you can
that
ask
because of your experiences, you can, but I'm not going to believe it unless you give me some good reason to believe it. And you just telling me that, like, oh, you can see it, like, that's not really that compelling.
I'm telling you that witchcraft
I know
obviously
I know
exists.
you're telling me that. You just telling me that is not going to be compelling evidence to me.
No,
That would be
I'm
like
not
me
trying to tell
saying
you.
that would,
You know
like
it exists.
me
The
telling
same way
you
you know it exists. You
that
know
would be
that it
like me
exists. You know
telling
witchcraft
you
exists.
that, you know, God doesn't exist, and then you ask, well, how do you know? And I'm like, well, you know, I just know. Like it's okay. What? I just like why would I believe something unless I have good reason to believe it?
What led you to being an atheist? Did you
We've been
research
over
all the
this,
religions
but I
in the
guess we're
world?
doing the what is it, the theist reset. I told you this at the beginning of the conversation. I haven't heard compelling arguments to think that there is a God of any kind.
Okay, so but you believe NASA when they say they went to the moon because they presented you with pictures.
Because I've seen compelling evidence, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen compelling evidence.
Okay, well,
That
look, Jaden, I'm not telling you that you don't have that you shouldn't believe. You can believe if you want to. Whatever. Doesn't really, you know, as long as you don't like oppress me or whatever, I don't care. But you telling me that you've seen evidence is not going to be convincing to me when I want evidence unless you give me that evidence.
that's the type of evidence that you have to see for yourself. You have to research and see for yourself. And because Christianity, let me tell you something about Christianity. Christianity can't be a man-made religion because it goes against everything we believe in. For example, it tells you that you have to be perfect. If you tell anyone that, they'll think you're crazy or something. It just goes to show you that
What are you
the
talking
fact
about?
that it goes against, it wasn't created by a human because it goes
I
against
mean, it
everything
literally
humans
was
believe.
created by humans.
So
It was
if a human
created by
he
the
would have made it.
apostles, right?
No, it wasn't.
Jesus wasn't Christian. You know that, right?
He wasn't Christian. They named
So
it
so who were
Christianity after
who
him.
were the first Christians?
There weren't any first. They didn't call themselves Christians.
Who were the first
term just,
Christians?
it was invented. It was invented through
By humans, right? I agree.
No, the name. I mean the name. But Christianity, it existed, but it just didn't have a name. We just
Christianity
didn't call it
is a belief
Christianity.
system.
We
Belief
named
systems
it.
are invented by people. What are you talking about?
It's not a belief system. No.
Of course it's a belief system. There are certain things that you believe if you're a Christian, and there's certain things that you don't believe if you're a Christian. That's what Christianity is. It's a belief system.
No, I mean it's even them. We can agree that there are so many religions, right, in the world.
You don't
right?
think that a religion is a belief system?
It's a bit. In my opinion, religion is humanity's way to reach God, but Christianity is God's way to reach humanity. So,
Okay.
it existed through who? Jesus, and
By the way,
Jesus
what are
is
those
God.
loud sounds in the background?
It's music.
It's not gunshots?
Nah, fireworks.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, look, do you have, like, evidence that would be particularly compelling or, you know, that you could present me? Otherwise, maybe we just call it there.
What type of evidence would convince you?
If I knew that, then I'd probably be a Christian, right? But like, you know, I could give you examples that definitely would convince me, but you probably can't provide them. For example, like
what kind? Name.
Like if Jesus showed up in my living room, that would probably convince me.
Jesus,
but of course you can't. Of course you. Well, no, I mean, he didn't show up. He didn't show up in my living room.
He did show himself, but we killed him.
You didn't answer.
We killed him.
He didn't show up. He didn't show up in my living room.
But he did show up to the world.
Okay, that wasn't my stipulation, right? He didn't show up in my living room. Now, obviously, you can't make that happen. So, you know, you can't present that as evidence because, you know, that's probably not going to happen. But that is an example of something that would convince me. Now, if you just tell me, you know, look at the trees, look at the human body, that's probably not going to convince me. So something between look at the trees, look at the human body, and Jesus showing up in my living room, that would be compelling evidence.
But when it comes to the moon landing, you weren't there, but you believe it because of pictures.
Yeah, because I've seen pictures, I've seen video, I've seen physical space rocks from the moon, I've seen the actual rocket or a copy of the rocket that took them to the moon. I've done analysis, I've done mathematical analysis of the video that they sent and showed that it can't be reproduced on Earth. There is like overwhelming evidence that this happened. Could you, if you could provide me with even a sliver of that degree of evidence, that'd be great.
They say that we can't go back. We can't. I quote: "We can't go back to the moon because that technology was lost, and rebuilding it would be a very painful process." You wanna tell me that today's technology can't?
So we're doing moon landing denying now? Okay, I mean, we can do that if you want. You know. So yeah. So when the people say that technology is lost, that's literally true. In order to build rockets, you need. Please don't cut me off. I'm going to mute you.
Biggest feat in human history.
In order to build rockets, we need factories and we need, you know, various like machinery to build rockets, right? And that machinery was decommissioned. Those factories were decommissioned. They no longer exist. And so if we wanted to build the industrial complex up in order to go back to the moon, which is being done, by the way, but if we wanted to do that, then we'd have to rebuild those factories, rebuild those machines, and that is expensive.
I'm sure that with today's, like, you know that countries are rich these days. So, and the budget that they used to build them back then is like 10 times the budget of today. So they can definitely do it, and it won't even affect the budget of those governments. So doesn't that seem a bit suspicious?
I mean, you're kind of just making it up. So do you know how much the Apollo program would have cost in today's dollars, like after adjusted for inflation? It's $300 billion. That's not enough. That is a lot of money. And keep in mind, the rockets that they built, the engines that they used, are a lot cheaper to make, and they're a lot less safe. And we care more about the safety of our astronauts these days, so we're going to have to spend even more money to make sure that it doesn't accidentally blow up.
Okay. You've seen the picture of that thing. It didn't that thing on the moon. They say it's a rocket, but it didn't really look like a rocket.
I'm sure. I mean, like, your incredulity is not a particularly good argument. There are strong analyses that I can send you, or that you can look up for yourself, I suppose.
That they landed on the moon with.
I know you're saying, yeah, it just doesn't look right to me. I know that that's your argument, but like, look, we do have evidence. Right. We have like video evidence of this happening 6 times.
What do you mean we?
As in, it exists in public. The video evidence exists in public. The video evidence. I was there for the video evidence. I've seen the video evidence, right? Have you seen the video evidence of God?
No, I haven't seen it, but it was
spiritual. Well, then I have better evidence that the moon landing happened.
I also have evidence, but it's spiritual evidence. Like,
okay,
example,
well, so can you give me that spiritual evidence? Can you like transfer that spiritual evidence to me? Because it seems like you're having a hard time doing that.
No, I'm not an alien. I can just teleport my thoughts to you. So that's the thing. That's what I'm telling you to. You have to go out there yourself. You have to. Okay, so it sounds like you're telling me you can't convince me. So Jaden, I am going to let you go, but thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for bringing up the moon landing. It was fun. All right, let's move on to our next guest. Oh, but actually, let's read some super chats first. From Ralph Perry with the $1. Thank you, Ralph. And from Just Some Guy with the $5. Imagine telling an atheist Jew to respect a commercial Christian holiday. Yeah, right? Like, why? I mean, like, my wife really enjoys it, so I'm happy to participate in Christian festivities with her, but like, it's not like some sacred thing to me. From Boogie the Cat with the $5. That Clive Barker book, The Hellbound Baby, was great.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Is that a reference to something? Sorry, I don't know the reference. And from Big with the $5, I love you, but I feel like debating on Christmas is kind of disrespectful, religious or not. I'm not religious, but enjoy family, regular day or not. Well, look, I mean, I'm working today. I'm also volunteering later. I don't see why debating in general is disrespectful. Like, I'm not saying you can't believe or that you shouldn't believe. I'm asking, can you? In fact, this is actually probably the most respectful thing I can do. Look, Christianity or Christmas is like one of the biggest holidays for Christians. This should be the day that they want to try to teach, want to try to convince me to believe in Christianity, right? And that's what I'm asking them to do. I'm asking them to come up and convince me. From Afer Brennan, with the $5, when you have a mature mind, so that means I've only been accountable for a little over a decade? Yeah, basically, right? Like, like 7 years for me. From Bubblemint with the $20. Thank you so much, Bubblemint. Merry Atheist Miss, thanks for all you do, Dr. Blitz. I appreciate that. And from Kelly Share with the $20, I appreciate you. You guys are being so generous. I mean, it is Christmas, I guess. And from Afer Brennan again, oh, I saw that already. From Garba Gaiman with the 10 Canuck bucks, it would be insane. It would be insane to punish my cat for not meeting human standards. It would be equally insane for a god to punish us for not meeting perfect god standards. All praise to Moralismo. Yeah, fair enough. From Jeffrey Ryan with the $2, Dr. Blitz, you're hilarious. Well, thank you. I try to be funny. Or maybe I'm just naturally funny, who knows. From C-Bar with the $2, happy holiday. You are appreciated. Well, C-Bar, look, C-Bar's been a long-time supporter, like a really long-time supporter. And so I just want to let him know that he's appreciated. And from Iconoclodge with the $2, guess literally doing the Futurama meme. I know, the Futurama meme is so good. From Garba Gaiman with the 5 Canuck bucks, I could bowl a perfect game and someone else could do it in half the time. No such thing as perfection, prove me wrong. That's a fair point, actually. Absolutely a fair point. From Delilah Jalila, that's a funny name, by the way. Thank you for the $20, Delilah. Hey Blitz, thanks for the live stream today. A nice way to enjoy my day off. Love your show. I'm happy to do it. And from Flint and Steel with the 5 Canuck bucks, NASA's Artemis program is working on returning to the moon. We also have continual evidence that we went to the moon. The landing site is still there. That's true, but they wouldn't believe it. In fact, I imagine that guy may have been a flat earther too. And from Kelly Share with the $2 again, thank you. A lump of coal in the collar's stocking. Well, maybe not. It's kind of mean. All right, let's talk to DJ Daniel. DJ Daniel, how's it going?
Finally. I'm good. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
it's been about 4 days while I'm trying to speak to you. I think
sure.
You were on a panel with several other experts, and I just want to put like a couple of ground rules.
Hold on, before we start, I just want to check. Do you believe in God? I
believe in a creator, a God.
Oh, okay,
I'm
fair
not
enough.
a Christian.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
just
Christian.
wanted to make sure that you're opposite. That's fine. You don't have to be a Christian. Sure. Okay, go ahead.
The first ground rule I wanted to put in place is that me believing in a God and you not believing in a God, both of us don't have undeniable evidence that our position is correct. Do we agree?
I mean, I don't think that, I guess, but I don't think that we have undeniable evidence of like anything except maybe one thing. So yes, I'm not too worried about that.
Undeniable of the strong nuclear force. We have undeniable.
No, we have very well. Okay, so then it depends on what you mean by undeniable. By undeniable, do you mean like 100%, or evidence that gives us 100% confidence? Because then no, we don't.
Yeah, we do.
We don't.
Gravity,
we don't.
We have 100% confidence. If I drop a ball, it's going to drop at 9.2 meters per second.
Well, that's the wrong number.
Whatever. What is the right number?
Having 100% confidence means that it's impossible that you're wrong. The entire scientific process is inductive in nature, which means that you absolutely can get to deductive. You absolutely cannot get to deductive conclusions, i.e., conclusions that necessarily follow that are 100% guaranteed, merely from inductive evidence. Like the entirety of science is not based. Like you can never get to 100% confidence
someone
in
the
science.
Chat
That's
said,
all business.
You can't be undeniable. We could be a simulation. In our simulation,
you could be a brain in a vat. You could be a brain in a vat, right?
For sure. But in our simulation, what our experience is right now, the laws of physics are undeniable.
I mean, not really. Like it could just change tomorrow in the
simulation. Has anybody broken them? Has anybody broken them?
That's not proof that it won't be broken in the future.
Oh my God, are you joking?
Look, there's something called, I mean, this is a type of like theory of knowledge
Are
called
you
contextualism
really telling me that because
or
no one has
fallibilism.
proven the laws of physics incorrect, that it might not exist?
Look, so what I agree is that we have a very high degree of confidence, but not 100%.
So what is a 100% to you about something that's not been, like, perpetual motion is impossible? Right?
Again, we have a very high degree of confidence that that's not the case, or that that's the case, but we don't have 100% proof, right? Like this is like basic like epistemology stuff.
So we can't measure the strong nuclear force with 100% accuracy?
No, this is basic epistemology.
So what do you know? So there's nothing that you believe in 100% then, obviously, because if the theory of relativity is not 100%, then nothing is.
Yeah. That's the whole business.
Why are
it's
you
called
up here? Why are you
fallibilism.
up here
I'm not
saying
making a claim. I'm not making a claim that I'm 100% certain about anything except maybe that thoughts exist, because like otherwise it's self-defeating because I can think about thoughts and anyway, there's a whole thing there. But aside from that,
no,
like,
you cannot say that. That's a stupid thing that you just said right now.
No, it
I'm
absolutely
telling you
is.
that the laws of physics, no one has been able
to tell a physicist about the laws of physics. Go on.
Yeah, they cannot be broken. Have not been shown to be broken. Right?
That is not 100% proof that they cannot be broken, right? You
Okay,
understand
so
that.
then why are you telling me that something that has never been broken with 1,700 billion different experiments has never been broken, but you think thoughts are something that's going to be more undeniable, or has a better chance of being 100%?
Well, no, thoughts are undeniable because even the proposal of trying to deny them is a thought itself, right?
And
this is from Descartes.
What is the difference? What is the difference from any experiment that tries to break the laws of gravity? You're trying to tell me that
are you suggesting that like we can know
that gravity
exists? Are you suggesting that we can know with 100% certainty what the outcome of a given experiment will be?
Yes.
Okay, well then I guess you have like a magic future
gravity
predicting
experiments
machine.
are 100% accurate so far.
So far,
are
yeah, sure. That doesn't say anything about the future.
I'm saying today, are they accurate? 100%?
You mean in the past? Were they accurate?
Today, tomorrow, they're going to be accurate. So you want to put your money on it that tomorrow is going to be accurate?
Up until today, they've been accurate. Absolutely, I agree.
And tomorrow it'll be the same thing.
I mean, look, do you have a future predicting machine, or like, do you just not understand epistemology?
There's
like,
700 people here. He says tomorrow the laws of gravity will be broken.
I actually didn't say that. Good job putting words in my mouth, though. What I'm saying is that we cannot know.
That's possible.
I said that we cannot know with 100% certainty that will not happen.
Well,
because
I'll tell you
all
something.
of our evidence is merely evidence, right? Like, so let's say that every time. Okay, actually, maybe I'll run an example by you, right? Suppose that we have a 1,000-sided die, right? It has a lot of sides, and on every single one of those sides, it has a 0 on it, except on one side.
Yeah.
On one side, it has a 1. Now, you've never examined this die. You only know what the outcomes of the experiments are. Or of the rolls are. And
perfect.
Somebody rolled this dice 500 times, and every single time they got a 0 on it.
Perfect.
Now, would you be correct in saying, well, yeah, this die was rolled 500 times.
No,
that
you
means
wouldn't.
that the next time I roll it, it'll definitely end up
no, because it has 1,000
0.
sides. I would have to run it 10,000 times, or
okay.
Or
So suppose that you ran it 10,000 times, and you still got 0 every time.
What if they ran it
a million times?
Okay.
Suppose that you ran it a million times and you got 0 every time. Is that guaranteed? Does that mean that you will never roll a 1?
Yes.
Does that? Oh no, it's because then you just have a bad understanding of probability.
No. You know why? Because you run experiments with a 1,000-sided die and try to get a million times without hitting the 1.
There's a non-zero probability of that happening.
Do it in a computer.
Do you understand that there's a non-zero probability of that happening?
10 million. How about 10 million times?
Do you understand that no matter how big the number you get is, there's always a non-zero probability that can happen?
It's not. I don't believe that.
Okay, then you don't understand probability. It's literally always non-zero. We can calculate it exactly, and it will always be non-zero. Do you want to calculate it exactly?
17 trillion times.
Yeah. So we have a 1,000-sided die, and you want me to raise it to you want me to roll it 17 trillion times. What's the probability that I get?
You don't get a 1.
Yeah. What's the probability that I don't get a 1? So we can just do 0.999 to the 17 trillion. It is the odds of that happening would be 5 times 10 to the negative 7,386,700,159th power.
How many numbers are there?
There's an infinite number of numbers.
Are you capable of using the word effectively zero?
You can say approximately 0. That's fine.
Effectively zero. You can
I don't know what effectively 0 means.
Meaning, it's not. It's like you shuffling a deck.
Do we agree that the number I just read you is not 0?
Okay, I'll agree with that. It's effectively 0, though.
So it's very, very close to 0. I don't know what effectively 0 means. That's not a language of art that's used in mathematics or statistics. But surely it's approximately 0. It's quite close to 0. But the point is that even if you rolled, did I? I mean, you just got schooled on the numbers. But even if you rolled this die 17 trillion times,
exponent to what number?
Even if you rolled this die 17 trillion times, the probability that you could get all zeros and then get a 1 later is still not 0, which means that the chances of you. So look, if this happened, let's say that this actually happened.
Can you say infinitesimally small?
No, it's not infinitesimally small. Infinitesimally small means that it's smaller than any positive number. Let's be clear. It's possible that this could happen, that you could roll a 1,000-sided die and get zeros 17 trillion times in a row. And the odds of that happening are very, very small, but it is possible. And so what that means is that you could have extraordinary evidence that there are no 1s on this die, and yet there'd still be a 1 on that die, and you could still roll a 1 the next time you roll it.
Well, then how do you defend being an atheist if you're going to protect the non-zero chance of a 0.100 million zeros and then a 1 at the end? You're going to protect that opportunity for it to be true, but then you want to sit here and be an atheist?
I never claimed that I'm 100% certain that a God doesn't exist.
We're getting better now.
When would I ever claim that?
Okay.
I literally told you I'm not certain. I don't make any certainty claims about anything, with perhaps the exception of thoughts existing. Did you miss that?
We're getting better here, but you understand that thoughts existing is a low. Like, we don't know where the thoughts are being. They're originating with neural responses in our brain. We know that, but we still don't have an explanation of it.
Idealists would disagree, but sure.
The idea of consciousness has not been fully solved yet.
Sure, I agree with you on that. That's fine.
Now, let's look at the laws of physics in general.
Yeah, let's do it.
If something is moved by 10 to the 100 off, like what they are now, the parameters are now, don't you understand that everything falls apart?
No, I don't think that that's true. I actually don't even like you. I know what you're alluding to. I don't think you know what you're alluding to. So do you want to elaborate? Maybe we can be a little bit more clear.
If the initial conditions of the universe were 1/1 millionth or 1/1 billionth of a percent off, then our whole universe would cease to exist. It would not.
To be clear, are we just assuming that there were initial conditions?
You're the one you're the physicist. Tell me if were there initial conditions or not.
Well, we don't know if the universe had a beginning, if the universe had a first moment of time. So to say that there certainly were, the Big Bang doesn't say that.
What does the Big Bang say?
That the universe was that 13.8 billion years. Wait, did you ask a question or was that rhetorical? Because I know what the Big Bang says. The Big Bang model is a description of the universe being in a hot, dense state 13.8 billion years ago and then expanding subsequently. That's what the Big Bang's about. It says nothing about a beginning.
So see, that hot dense state had initial conditions. That hot dense state had conditions.
Well, yeah. So the hot dense state absolutely had conditions, but they weren't. I guess I was perhaps assuming by initial conditions you meant conditions before which there were no conditions.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about your initial conditions that you're.
You mean you just mean the conditions 13.8 billion years ago?
Yes.
Okay, then no, I do not agree that if they were changed by 1/100 millionth or whatever, that nothing would exist. I don't see any reason to believe that.
Everybody can go into their ChatGPT or Gemini and ask.
Yes, appealing to AI.
Listen, you got to understand. This is something that you need to understand yourself. AI today, at its current level, scores higher on tests than you would be able to. So anybody who's asking a question here, if they were to prompt better, like if they knew how to prompt, they wouldn't need you anymore.
Yeah, so AI is still incapable of performing the kinds of research that even an advanced graduate student performs.
So what do we have, 6 more months till we get there?
Maybe.
1 trillion parameters and GB300 is coming out is already being trained right now. 1 trillion
Maybe,
parameters.
but it's not there yet, so it's irrelevant.
Aren't they at 78% of the hardest tests on Earth or whatever?
So the way that we conduct research is unrelated to the way that we conduct exams. You understand that, right?
Yeah, but the people in here are asking you questions of stuff that you already know, not research.
No. These are frontier physics questions. These are questions about the very nature of reality. These are not exam questions.
So they're not there yet. They're not, the AI systems are not there.
AI is not a reliable source. In fact, what you can, by the way, what you can ask AI to do is you can ask it, hey, what is the answer to XYZ question? Provide sources. And then you can just go look at what the sources say.
Yeah. And you can do that better than you.
By the way, you will find, AI has read significantly more than me, absolutely, because it doesn't actually read, it kind of just downloads.
Everything.
But
everything known to man.
Not that. Well, that's not true, but it's pretty close. Anyway, but the point stands is that questions about fine tuning are like some of the hardest questions in existence that nobody knows the answer to, which means that AI won't know the answer to it.
AI won't know the answer to something that a human has not already solved yet. Yes, that's it.
Right, and humans haven't solved this yet. So why would you believe what AI says?
But it's in the AI repository once it's been solved.
Just because somebody wrote something doesn't mean that it's solved. Doesn't mean that it's proven. Doesn't mean that it's true. AI doesn't know. AI isn't able to tell the difference between true and false things. No, it really doesn't.
AI doesn't know how to fact check?
It really doesn't. It doesn't understand anything. Right.
Listen, the models that are available to you and me are different from the models that are actually out there. Okay,
so you told people to just go type into ChatGPT.
Yeah,
are they using the models available to you and me?
Research.
So are they so when you told people to appeal to AI, you recognize now that was a mistake and you were telling them to go trust something that's not trustworthy, right?
I will recognize the fact that if they do not know how to correctly prompt, because they need to be able to press the AI to provide better sources and to provide the certain type of source for it to be validated. Now, let's talk about
I'm glad
DNA.
we agree. Anyway,
let's talk about life.
Oh, okay, so we're changing topics. Cool.
Yeah, let's talk about life.
Okay, so just to be clear, before we change topics, you admit that you appealed to AI when you were pressed on an issue that you thought was obvious but isn't obvious, and then you're just telling me that AI knows better than you, even though this is my field of research. Is that about my field of research? No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
They absolutely don't. I can prompt AI in various ways, and it'll absolutely spit out nonsense about my particular area of research that I know more about.
If you and me went into a classroom, okay, and we were both given a test.
That's not how research works, my guy. Research and tests are not the same thing.
People are asking you questions. You can only answer questions based off of what you've known, right? I'm not talking about research that you're doing, that you're trying to solve a problem that hasn't been solved yet. We're not talking about that. We're talking about them asking you questions that you know about, right? In that situation, we both got into a room.
I don't think you understand what I'm getting at. My point is that you're appealing to something that is probably not trustworthy with regard to this particular question, because this particular question is frontier research. This is
which question are we talking about?
The question about the initial state of the Big Bang.
Okay, so in that case, that's fine. But any of the other
so
questions
we agree that you don't know what you're talking about with regards to the initial state of the Big Bang.
You can't answer that
Neither
question.
does ChatGPT.
Can you answer that question? No.
That's my point.
Okay, so that doesn't solve.
So why did you bring it up?
I'm saying in any situation where you can confidently answer the question, so can AI.
Okay, can you ask AI? Actually, do you have your prompt open?
I can go there in a second. Just ask the question, and I'll go and prompt.
Yeah, okay. Can you ask AI to prove that we are not inside a black hole?
That is not a question you can answer either.
Sure it is.
I'm talking about.
I'm working on a paper on it right now.
Huh?
I'm working on a paper on it right now.
Okay, so once you finish the paper and other people agree with you, then
okay. So you're telling me that even though I can confidently answer that question, it
can't.
Oh,
you think you're confident in answering that question?
Yeah.
That we live in a black hole? So what?
No, that we don't live in a black hole.
Huh?
That we don't live in a black hole.
Oh, we don't. Okay, that's your stance. Okay.
Yeah.
So publish your paper.
Clear, there are things that ChatGPT cannot answer that I can.
Well, you can't answer that question. You think anybody
what do you think I'm doing by writing a paper about it?
Yeah, but the scientific community has yet to agree with you on this research.
That doesn't mean I can't answer it confidently, my guy. I think that you should probably trust AI a little bit less.
No,
I think that you're like having AI psychosis, and I would suggest that you seek a therapist.
No. I'm sure of it. I will put $100,000 up for charity. You don't even have to risk anything. If I walk into a room and they give us a test, any test on whatever you want,
why are we talking about
AI
tests?
with me?
Tests are not really relevant.
No, I'm just saying, anybody could ask whatever fucking question they want. If
Okay.
we are both in a room and we're giving tests, and I have AI and you don't,
Why are we
you are losing.
talking about tests?
I'm just showing you that your whole life.
Tests are testing knowledge. Tests are not testing, intelligence, right?
Yeah. So the AI has
under
better
that.
knowledge than you.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Of course
all
it
I wanted
does.
to
That doesn't mean that it knows the answer to any question that I can answer confidently.
What do you mean? You can answer it confidently, but your other people have not synonymously decided that that's accurate. Yes.
That's irrelevant. That's
Finish
irrelevant
your
to the
research
claim.
paper and let it be agreed upon, and then
That's
we can
irrelevant to
talk
the claim, my guy. Your claim is
You are-
that there
you
is
are
no
able to do
question that I
frontier
can
research.
answer confidently that it doesn't know the answer to.
and that's only going to last for another 6 more months, eh? So
Okay.
enjoy.
So, wait. So, are we predicting the future now?
Yes,
Okay.
because we have evidence in the past that we're scaling with parameters.
Okay. So just like how every single time that we've run an experiment that guarantees us 100% certainty that something will happen in the future, that's the same kind of reasoning that you're using here.
Well, listen, you're telling me that gravity might be broken tomorrow, so I don't know.
I mean,
what
look,
you're-
we shouldn't have 100% confidence.
exactly. So you're thinking that the sun might not come up tomorrow too.
We shouldn't have 100% confidence, right?
Okay. So do you see how I made you look like a little bit of a wacko right now?
What happens if random
sun doesn't
black
come up
hole?
tomorrow?
What happens if
You
a
sound like a
random
flat
black
earther, buddy.
hole? What happens if a random black hole moving at 99.9% the speed of light crashes into the sun in 10 minutes?
Yeah, that's something a wacko would say.
Is it possible?
The Earth is flat is probably possible the way you're talking right now.
The Earth is as flat as the Earth being flat is as possible as the dice rolling example I gave you.
Listen, if the sun doesn't
Why
come up
can't you
tomorrow,
answer my question? Is it possible that a black hole moving at 99.9% the speed of light slams into the sun in 10 minutes? Is that possible?
no.
No, that's not. That's impossible.
No, you know
what
why I'm
law
going
of
to say it's not
physics does it
possible? 'Cause
violate?
in our lifetimes, that we're not going to see that. So I'm
What
confident.
law of physics does it? What law of physics does it violate? If
Put
it's
a
impossible?
polymarket, make a polymarket example of that, and then I'll bet on
I'm
no.
sorry. What
with
law
my-
of physics
with my
does it
parents'
violate?
Lives in the balance. If
I'm
you
sorry.
want.
What law of physics does it violate?
It doesn't violate any
So
laws
then
of
it's
physics.
possible.
Just never happened before.
Just because something never happened before doesn't make it impossible, my guy.
No, but once you get to
Do you
4
think
billion years
impossible
of
just
Earth's
means
existence-
unlikely?
Unlikely, yes. You don't like
That's
to use
not
the
what
word
impossible means.
effectively zero, infinitesimally small. You don't like those words, right?
Infinitesimally small does not mean unlikely. Those two
Yeah,
things
so
are
do you hear yourself though?
very
You're
different.
talking about a black hole going at
Yeah.
the speed of light hitting our sun.
Not the
or
speed of
something.
light, just close.
Okay.
Yeah, that's possible. Such
Why
in,
not-
in
why
fact,
not- why not
such black
exceed the speed of light,
it
since
doesn't
that's
even
not
have to
a
be moving
zero-
at the speed of light. It could be moving at
Wait a second. Is
half
the speed of light
and-
100%?
Is what the speed of light 100%?
Like, is that the top speed of the universe?
We have a high degree of confidence, but we shouldn't have 100% certainty.
Guys,
Like, you really need to
Yeah,
study
there's
epistemology. I
818 people.
haven't
We're
even
getting more
formally
viewers.
studied.
You
I haven't
see
even
how he's getting
formally studied.
decimated here?
Well, I think it's because you're currently getting bodied. I haven't even formally studied epistemology, and I know this shit. You should definitely take a class or something because you look like a dumbass.
I do.
Yeah,
You saying the speed
absolutely.
of light is not the top speed of the universe,
No, I didn't say that. I said that we shouldn't
So
be
we're not
100%
sure if it
confident
is.
that it is.
even though we've never witnessed or seen anything go faster than the speed of light.
Look, have you been to Australia?
Have you heard of causality?
Have you been to Australia?
I haven't. No.
Okay. Are you 100% sure that it exists? Because you haven't seen it.
Yes. Yes,
But you
I
haven't
am.
seen it. How do you know it exists? I thought you needed to see some. I thought if you haven't seen something,
Because I'm
then
willing
you have
to-
reason to
I'm
think it
willing
doesn't
to-
exist.
I'm willing to put my life. You know my life. Like, you think I would want to live, right? I would put my
Who
life
knows,
on
man?
it.
Maybe you don't. I don't know.
That I would go on a plane and go there, and it will be there.
Right, but you've never seen it.
Yeah, but the evidence is enough for me to know that. The problem is you're the one who's denying evidence, not me.
I'm happy for evidence
You're
to be
telling me
useful
that
and it
the
increases
sun
our
might not come
credence
up
in a
tomorrow.
claim.
You're the one who's saying this stuff.
What I'm
You said
saying.
the sun might not come up
okay,
tomorrow.
so it
You're
seems
saying
like
we might
it seems
blow
like
up
you're really
tomorrow.
struggling. Do you understand the difference between certainty and confidence?
What's your confidence?
Do you understand the difference between certainty and confidence?
We need to talk about stuff like we got to stop talking about these outliers. Certainty.
Do you understand the
is-
difference between certainty and confidence?
Yeah, the laws of gravity are certainty.
Do you understand the difference between certainty and confidence?
Are we going to talk about this non-zero chance forever?
I just
Because
want you to answer the
Why
question.
are you an atheist at that case then?
Do you
You shouldn't believe
understand the
anything.
difference between certainty and confidence?
Yes,
Okay, tell me the difference.
I'm confident that Australia is there. I'm not certain. Is that good for you?
There, perfect.
But my confidence
You did it
level
perfectly.
is so
You're
fucking close to
confident.
certainty.
Yeah.
that you
It's
don't-
really close, but it's not certain.
Okay. But
I'm
you're
glad we
you're-
got there. We got there. Ladies and gentlemen, mission accomplished.
Okay, let's talk about some other things.
Sure.
Presence of life
Mm-hmm.
only on Earth, correct?
As far as we know. Well, okay. I should say there was the announcement by NASA like a month ago where they said we now have very strong evidence that life exists on Mars. I
No, that
actually
life
think
could
that's,
exist.
No, that
not
life did exist. No, that life did exist. Maybe you missed it. There was
Yeah, but they didn't say it did exist. They said we have strong evidence it might have existed in the past.
No, I mean I don't remember
No
their
one has
exact
said
words,
it has
but
existed on Mars.
I
That
don't
was a
remember their
part of the
exact
thing that you
words.
left
My
and ran
point
away
is
from last
that
time.
they presented very strong evidence that life did exist on Mars. Now, maybe
Yeah, but
maybe the evidence is not 100% compelling, but like
Thank you.
know, we can perhaps just disregard that for now, pretend it was 6 months ago, then I would say, yeah, we don't have any evidence that says that life exists anywhere else right now.
You talked
That's
about
fine.
something earlier about every 500 million years probably life spontaneously can erupt. And
I
we
don't
have
actually
that.
think I mentioned that today, but
Not today. I'm saying in the
okay, yeah,
past.
sure. Yeah, sure.
And you said that we don't have the we haven't been able to run enough tests.
Yeah, I mean,
to do
maybe
that on our
like
own.
maybe that's why we haven't seen life anywhere else. Maybe because it's so unlikely that it forms anywhere.
Now, because your side is on the we've never been able to reproduce it, but there's this creator argument, a god, right? That fully can say that, oh, yeah, that was me. I created it. Why aren't you like just as compelled to that argument as you are to your argument where hopefully I made up this number of 500 million years that it shows up, even though there's no actual evidence that it's going to show up every 500 million years.
By the
Why
way,
aren't you not
I never made
compelled
the
to that
claim that that's
argument?
like true. I was just giving an example of the way that it could be rare.
Yeah, but it could be a billion, it could be 10 billion, it could never.
Yeah, my
it
point is
happen.
it could be very, very rare, which is
Or
why
it
we've
could
never
never
seen
happen.
it anywhere else except here.
Hey, because you've never found it anywhere else on Earth, you have to be of the mindset of it never happened anywhere.
No, why would I have to be why would I have to have that mindset?
Because you have no proof it happened anywhere.
Look, so my current position is that I think that it's likely that there exists life out there, but I'm generally agnostic about it. Like I'm maybe like 70-30 on it.
Whether or not you're agnostic or not agnostic, you have to be cognizant to the fact that it's never been found anywhere off of the planet Earth.
Well, barring the evidence from Mars, sure.
That has not been corroborated yet to be.
I don't know what you mean by corroborated. It was literally the entirety of NASA.
Yeah, but they're talking about something. First of all, the presence of signs that something existed in the past, nothing live being seen, right? So we've never seen anything live.
These are fossils, yeah.
Yeah, no live organisms.
Yeah, of
And
course.
do you understand? Like JWST and Hubble and whatever have been looking for a long fucking time.
JWST isn't looking for life.
No, it's not looking
it's
for.
incapable of doing that.
Yes, it is. It looks for.
No, it doesn't have a high enough
carbon
resolution.
and oxygen in.
Oh, but those things aren't life, right? Just
atmospheres.
seeing carbon and oxygen in atmospheres isn't life.
I'm not saying it's life. That's the signs of life. I'm saying.
Yeah, in the same way that we have seen signs of life on Mars.
Yeah, but not life yet.
Yeah,
We have
I
not
agree.
seen life.
I agree.
Okay.
We've seen strong evidence of fossilized life on Mars.
You don't even believe
sure.
in strong evidence of gravity. So what am I?
I believe in very strong evidence
Why
of
do you think
gravity.
that's strong evidence?
Do you?
Anything you said there's a non-zero chance. So you said
Yeah.
if-
Non-zero chance doesn't mean that you don't have strong evidence.
I know that.
You
but
really need to work on your epistemology. This is rough.
do you hear what you're saying?
Yeah, I do.
You're saying gravity
It's pity.
might not work tomorrow, but the same amount of strength. So do you believe that we are just as sure about gravity as we are sure about life being on Mars in the past?
No, we're way more sure about gravity.
Okay, thank you. So why don't you consider the fact that because we haven't found it yet, that there was a creator to put the life on Earth?
I would need good reason to think that that's the case.
Look at DNA. It's
Okay,
encoded.
what about DNA?
DNA is encoded. We don't know how
I
that.
don't know what you mean by encoded.
So
Encoded is like,
have you heard of the
like-
ABCD?
yeah,
of
ADCG. It's ADCG.
Okay, you've heard about them, right?
I'm familiar with it.
They can replicate,
yeah,
right?
that's what organisms
They
do.
contain
replicate.
information. They contain information.
we can get into that if you want to, but I imagine you have more things that you want to say.
No, we can get into that too. They definitely
can you
contain
define what you
information.
mean by information for me, please?
They contain the building blocks for what they need to do next to replicate by themselves. Like nothing was.
Wait a minute.
We cannot.
Now I'm a little confused. They contain the building block. Like the DNA is a certain way in that, given the right chemical conditions, it will do certain things. I agree with that.
I'm not reading ChatGPT, Rich.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. You seem very interested in AI. But yeah, I believe that you're not.
Yeah, neural networks is the future.
So I'm sure. But look, so I agree that like if you put DNA in certain chemical conditions, it will do certain predictable things that, you know, inevitably will lead to like a cell replicating itself or something like this. But I don't know what you mean by it like contains the building blocks to like is that all you mean by
information? What I'm saying, information.
I'm asking you to define what you mean by information here.
Explaining. So someone in the chat, go ahead and help me with this.
I'm asking what you mean by information, because there are kind of two different notions of information that people often conflate. There's the kind of information where it's just like a thing is like arranged in a certain way. And like in that same regard, then like a crystal contains information, right? Because it's like it has like crystalline shapes and like all that stuff. Then there's a second meaning of information where we talk about like a certain arrangement of things has meaning. And if you modified it, then it would have a different meaning or no meaning. And that's the kind of information that I don't think DNA has.
So why do respected scientists all over the world consider DNA code? Can you explain that?
I don't know if they do.
Oh, you never heard is the word like DNA or like DNA coded is not like synonymous in the world?
Well, I mean, like sometimes people like I don't really pay attention to biologists all that often. And like to the extent that I've heard like Richard Dawkins, for example, use that language, he's not using it in the way that suggests that it was coded by someone. Because Richard Dawkins is famously an atheist, by the way.
Someone Basil is saying it's encoded.
Yeah, so
it's
the point
is
with
information so that it can replicate.
Well, hold on. When did we say encoded with information?
Because
like what are we talking about? The kind of information that has meaning associated with it? In which case, I'd ask you to prove that.
Someone say we encode it. We don't encode it. I'm saying that from single microorganisms, any DNA that has those four, what are the four letters again?
ACTG.
Go double check that.
It doesn't matter, right?
Yes, it does. You're a physicist.
Make your point.
You don't want to be giving false information.
I'm not a biologist. I'm allowed to be wrong about biology.
You just said that those were the four letters.
Okay.
So
It's been confirmed. It's been confirmed. It's ACTG.
Okay. Those letters have encoded information on them that helps them replicate and do the things that we see. Like you know when you talked about evolution.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think evolution, if you go back to first principles, happens?
Evolution is essentially guided by the law of large numbers and finite resources.
No. See, the genetic code that lies within us, the reason why we have less hair on our bodies is because we started wearing clothes, right?
No, I don't think that's true. I don't even think that's like the evolutionary account. No. The evolutionary account, I think, has to do with
we used to have tails,
being...
and that went away. How about us standing up? What about all the other things? There's lots of evolutionary things.
Yeah, lots of evolutionary things have happened. It's just you didn't produce the correct account for why we are not hairy anymore.
I'm pretty sure that's correct.
No,
why people are less hairy.
It's to increase efficiency with regards to sweating. But
increase what?
Increase efficiency with regards to sweating.
Oh, so you think us wearing clothes had nothing to do with it?
No, we were much less hairy before we started wearing clothes.
We're not getting less hairy?
What?
I'm saying 20,000 years ago and 50,000 years ago.
We were much less hairy 300,000 years ago.
We were much less hairy. We're much less hairy today than we were 100,000 years ago too.
No.
No? We're the same
hairiness?
Anatomically
identical to what we were 300,000 years ago. Nearly anatomically identical.
This is so not true, but like that. Okay. We'll digress.
Homo sapiens stopped having hair before Homo sapiens started wearing clothes.
No, I know we started losing hair before fire was part of that too.
Clothes that was explaining why we lost hair.
How long ago did we find fire?
Like 2 million years ago or something like this.
Okay, so we found a source of heat.
This has nothing to do with why we lost hair.
Oh my god.
Or why our hair got thinner, rather. Like, you could look this up, type it into ChatGPT if you have to. This is like well understood, and it has nothing. It's not related to that.
Okay.
It's not even irrelevant. You could have just said, "Oh yeah, you're right," and then you could have made your same point.
You're right. I could have done that too, but I don't want you to win anything in this debate. I want you
Okay.
to
Well,
lose
unfortunately,
everything.
unfortunately for you, I've won everything in this debate. Continue.
Yeah, the chat will decide that. Okay.
Indeed, they
Not
will.
you. You are not the decide. I know if they're simps for you, that could be a thing. But I'm pretty sure I've won this debate.
I'm sure. Anyway, go on. Make your point.
Okay, going back to you saying evolution exists, whatever, and it's not related to information encoded in our DNA.
Wait, what? No, that's not what I said.
What do you mean that's not what you said?
Obviously, evolution and DNA are related. Evolution acts on DNA.
Yeah.
It acts on genes more specifically, but genes are encoded by DNA.
And if we look at things that are anatomic, what's the word looking something that's innate or whatever? Like if a piece of carbon or crystal, like those atoms don't do anything. Like that's not going to have any evolution.
Yeah, they're not alive. They don't compete for resources.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the alive part of us has information in it that has the signs of a creator. Something like a book, like if you find a book somewhere, you're going to think someone wrote that book kind of thing.
Ah, yes. Paley's watchmaker fallacy. Look, you keep asserting that there's information there.
There is.
And
how does evolution,
I'm asking you to prove that.
How does evolution come about without there being information there
so
to know
if
what
by
what,
information
what's
you mean
to?
If by information
if
you
something
mean
keeps getting eaten because it's
by
on the ground
information
and then it ends up flying,
if by information
something can learn and
if
think.
by information you mean a configuration that is assigned meaning or that has meaning, then I would ask you to prove that. That's not required for evolution to work.
My friend,
all you need is function. All you need is function.
Is looking towards living.
My friend, I was not done with my sentence.
Okay.
All you need for evolution to work is you need that you have living organisms that have finite resources and are able to reproduce, and their behavior is governed, or their function is governed by something that can change. That's all you need. I
know, but guess what?
It doesn't require information at all.
Creating is so that they can procreate and flourish more. They're not the evolution that we're seeing is not for them to be like random. It's for them to exist. You know when camouflage is as an evolution for something like a chameleon, it's so that it could hide, so that it could continue living. It's not just random.
DJ Daniel, can you explain to me the process by which a new trait evolves?
No.
It sounds like you don't actually know a whole lot about evolution then.
I do.
I thought that you couldn't explain to me the process by which a new trait evolves.
Do you agree with me that evolution at its core is to maintain the population of that said organism at its greatest amount?
No.
No?
It doesn't sound like you know a whole lot about evolution.
Stop it. Stop it. So
like
chameleons chameleons have camouflage because of what then?
Look, I asked you a very simple question.
I want you to explain to me another fucking reason other than hiding from predators.
DJ Daniel, I asked you a very simple question, which is, can you explain how a new trait evolves? That's like,
and I said no.
That's like the core.
What does that have to do with anything?
That is the entirety of what evolution is. It's the core of evolution. Yeah, it is. And the fact that you don't know that just makes me think that, I don't know, bro, maybe you just don't know much about evolution. Why are you interrupting me?
I'm saying, chat, let me just finish one thing and then you can go ahead.
Why are you interrupting me mid-sentence?
Okay, finish your thought.
Did you hear what I said?
No, finish your thought.
Okay. One of the core, in fact, the core feature of evolution itself is the process by which new traits evolve and old traits disappear. And the fact that you can't explain how that works suggests to me that you don't know anything about evolution, because that's what evolution is.
Okay, so you are trying to sit here and tell me that there is no process in evolution that looks for survival of whatever it's encompassing.
I never said that.
Yes, you are. You're saying it's random.
I never said that either.
So what is it trying to accomplish?
Do you not know the answer to that question?
I'm asking you what evolution is trying to accomplish.
Evolution doesn't have a goal. Evolution is not a person.
Chat. He just said evolution doesn't have a goal.
Yeah,
so
because it's not a person.
you,
People
you
have
evolve,
goals.
You
Processes
evolve
don't.
things for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, if insofar as reasons require people to hold those reasons, yeah.
So a camel that lives in the desert didn't not need less water because it needs to survive. It was just random.
To be clear, I didn't say it's random.
Yes, you are. You're saying it's not because of trying to survive. It's not because it has some kind of information to try to survive.
It doesn't require information. It requires function, and it requires competition. And
The function has a goal, though, my friend. You're saying there's no goal to the
functions
function.
don't have to have goals.
Yeah, but they do.
No, goals are things that people assign.
So a camel not having to drink a lot of water in the desert is not a fucking goal?
Whose goal?
The camel's goal to survive, or else it's gonna die out in the desert.
So does evolution know the camel's goal?
Yes.
How does evolution know anything? Evolution
Because it's a
not a
creator
person.
who fucking set it up, buddy.
Okay,
A polar
so
bear has thick fur.
It
Why?
seems like you just don't know what evolution is.
No.
When was the last time you took a biology class?
I don't need to fucking take a biology class to know that a
When was
polar
the
bear
last time you
works well
read
in
a
the fucking
textbook
cold.
that involved evolution?
Are you not hearing yourself?
Can you answer my question?
You're telling me that evolution is not the goal of
Can you
evolution?
answer my question?
What?
When was the last time you read a textbook with evolution in it?
I don't need to.
Can you answer my question?
I'm 30. A long time ago, probably when I was in like grade 12.
Okay, and was that part of a biology class?
Yeah,
Did you pass?
of course.
I don't know, man.
Do you not hear
pass
me
today.
talking to you right now, cooking you up? Like,
You wouldn't pass a biology class today.
I wouldn't pass it, but at that time when I was reading, I would answer with the question that would
You
the answer
would know
that's
what
necessary.
biology was, or you would know what evolution is. You just don't know what it is anymore. 'Cause you
Listen, all I
forgot,
need to know
guess.
was mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cell. That's what I needed to
Oh,
know.
okay, so you didn't learn about evolution.
Yes, I did.
I thought you
You're
said
the
that
one
all
who's
you needed to
confused.
know was mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
You know what? You know what the problem is with you is that you're trying to tell me right
shit.
now that evolution is not geared towards the
Can you hear me?
whatever it
we're good.
encompasses surviving longer. Why
That
do
is
you think
that is the outcome of evolution in many cases. Yes, that's
in
not like
many
a goal.
cases, not all cases, many cases?
Well, I mean, yeah, like evolution can also lead to other outcomes, right?
yeah, the ones that you don't understand but actually matter.
What?
The outcomes that you don't can't connect to being like something that helps them be a better species or be more like
No, I mean,
prosperous?
like evolution can give rise to things that are like, there's a name for this, where there's a new trait that develops and becomes part of a population, but it doesn't have any benefits or downsides, and so it just sticks around because there's no
How do you
pressure
know
one way or
there's no
the other.
benefits or downsides?
This is just expected from the way that evolution works. If
think
you have
there's no benefits or downsides.
okay, so no, I mean, it doesn't require that. I don't think vestigial is the right word. Maybe vestigial is the right word.
It's
Evolution
like
doesn't
appendix
require
and
that no, it's not. Evolution does not require that every change has an upside. It just requires that the changes don't cost anything and have no downsides.
Oh, so now there's rules. I thought you said it was random.
I literally never used the word random.
Okay.
You can go back and rewatch it. I never
But now
used
you're
the
saying
word
there's
random.
rules though. Now you're saying there's information in those rules.
Uh,
No downside?
rules
And
are part of the way that we understand a thing. They're not like built in. There's no like law like written down on stone tablets with evolution on it. It's not how that works.
yeah, but
This is a
you
consequence
pretty
of
much
the law
said
of
that,
large
though.
numbers.
No, you just said that though. You said
Do you
like
have a hard time like understanding people generally when you're talking to them, or only when you're trying to make an argument for the existence of God?
Dr. Blitz. Do you see the view count keep continuing to rise here?
Yeah, it's because you're
This
making
is
a
the
fool of
first
yourself,
time
and
you're
this is
talking
good
to
for
someone.
views.
Huh?
Because you're making
This
a
is the
fool of
first time
yourself,
you're
and it's
talking to
good for
someone who's
views.
actually showing you what you're saying doesn't make sense.
Can you,
what
name
you
one? Can you name one thing that you understood that I said that didn't make sense?
You said a black hole at close to the speed of light is gonna eviscerate our solar system.
Did
in
I
the
say
future,
that it's
probably.
going to?
Has a chance to.
Yeah, okay. What part of that doesn't make sense?
Chat, be very scared
Don't
tomorrow.
appeal to chat. Answer the question.
Why can't I appeal to the chat?
Answer the question.
No, we have to be
Because you're deflecting.
aware
That's
of this risk that you're talking about.
It's a real possibility, yeah.
Yeah, I know, real. We have to be
Yeah.
scared.
Okay, so which part? So it makes sense then. I'm glad we agree.
We have to be very scared. Same way we have to be scared that
You don't
maybe
have
the
to be
Earth
scared.
is
The
flat.
odds are low.
Yeah. Australia might not exist, chat, because I've never been there.
I mean, that's your view, not mine.
Yes,
You
you
said
told
it.
me that. You said I cannot be certain.
You said that
Australia
you're
exists.
confident but not certain.
Whoa, stop.
Those are your words.
Stop lying, Dr. Blitz.
You want to
told
replay
me,
it?
can I be confident or
You
am I
want to replay
certain?
it?
And when I said I was confident, you told
Are
me,
we
good.
replaying
You
it?
understand the difference between confident and certainty, right?
Yeah. Right.
Okay, so the flat earthers
So you
who've
said
never
it.
been in
To
a
be clear,
fucking
you
shuttle.
said it. We agree.
What? You asked me the question.
I didn't say Australia didn't exist. You said that you're confident but not certain.
You asked.
And then I
you
said,
made me
good,
say
you
that.
understand the difference. I didn't make you say
Yeah.
anything. What, you don't have free will?
Dr. Blitz, stop. You told me.
So what was
Have
the,
you-
what
have
was
I
the
been to
thing?
Australia? Was
What
your
was the
first
thing
question,
that
right?
doesn't make sense? Tell me, what
Chat.
was the thing that doesn't
His
make
first
sense?
question to me was,
Are you gonna, if you're
have
gonna
I
talk
been
to
to
chat,
Australia?
I'm going to
I
kick
said
you.
no. Then he asked me
If you're
I'm
going to
certain
talk to chat,
Australia
I'm
exists.
going to kick you. You're talking to me, not to chat. Okay?
Okay, Dr. Bliss, was your first question to me, have you been to Australia?
That wasn't my first question. I definitely did ask you that, though.
Okay, you asked me that.
Mm-hmm.
After that, you asked me, did I know the difference between confidence and certainty?
Mm-hmm.
And then I
And
said,
after
I'm
pressing
confident.
you for like 10 minutes, you said, I am confident, not certain.
Okay. So I want you.
So you
with
said
that
it, not
say-
me.
Yes, I know I said
I was
it.
congratulating you for recognizing the difference between the two.
Thank you. So I can't wait for all the flat earthers to come up here and tell you, because since you've never been, not certain that the earth could be flat.
I'm also not certain. I'm also not certain that the sun will rise tomorrow. Like we have different levels of confidence of different things, and we have a high level of certainty or a high level of confidence that the earth is round. We have a high level of confidence that the sun will rise tomorrow. I guess we're just resetting back to the first half of the conversation because you were getting blown out in the second half, but I don't know, man. Do you really want to do this again?
We talked about genetic
good for your
information
ego?
encoded in DNA.
Which
We
you never
talked
demonstrated, by
about
the
the laws
way.
of physics, and we talked about no foundational finds of actual life outside of the Earth.
I don't know what
I don't know what
a
else you want me to
foundational
do.
find is. I
You
mean,
were-
like,
you were
look,
telling me that there's a non-zero.
you just haven't presented any evidence that like
I'm done.
a creator
I'm gonna drop.
exists.
I think I've done everything that I need to do today.
Put on your running
Goodbye.
shoes. Goodbye. Yeah, keep your. So typically we tell DJs to don't quit their day job, but maybe he should keep his day job of DJing. That was rough for him, and I'm sure actually, you know what, DJ, that's gonna go on YouTube, as I'm sure you would appreciate. I'm sure that you really, really strongly want that to go on YouTube, so we'll put it on YouTube for you. All right, let's talk to 2026. How's it going?
What's up, Dr. Blitz? How are you?
I'm doing all right. 2026, do you believe in a God?
Yes, I believe we have a great architect. I'm not a Freemason, by the way, but I like the name great architect, meaning there's a creator.
Okay,
of
I didn't
all
know what your
things.
name was, so that's fine. What would you say is the most compelling argument or the best evidence you have for such a creator existing?
Okay, so do you, as an atheist, believe there's an energy that can't be created or destroyed?
No.
Can I ask you, what do you believe in a core energy source for all things existing?
A what? A co-energy source?
Core energy source.
What's that first word?
Core. So
Oh, core.
C-O-R.
Yeah, core. No, I don't think that such a thing exists.
So, how do you think things came into existence, particularly our consciousness?
Yeah, so I don't have a strong opinion about the origins of consciousness. But that seems unrelated to the question of how things came into existence. As far as I can tell, there were never not things in one form or another.
So it's always been here.
I don't think that there was ever nothing. How about I put it like that?
You're still describing the same thing. We've always been
Not quite. You can have a beginning while having while there having never been nothing, right?
all right. Just like in maths, we can start counting, and the more we count, it just doesn't end. It's infinite, right?
No, I'm not saying that the universe must have always existed. I'm not saying that. No.
Okay, so what could you tell me how many years ago we've never existed, and when
I don't
was
even
our
know what that
beginning?
question means. So our
Could
universe
you
is at
count-
least 13.8 billion years old.
How
I
do you
don't know
the-
if it's older than
exact
that.
number?
I
So
mean,
how
that's
did you come-
that's our best estimate right now, given the data that we
So
have.
what's your source for that information?
The Planck satellite, and then the
satellite.
entire rest of the cosmological data set that we have access to. You know, going from, I guess we could look at like the Gaia not the Gaia telescope, the Sloan Digital Sky Survey. Not even the Sloan Digital Sky Survey. That's a galactic telescope. There's a telescope that does surveys of distant galaxies. I don't remember what it's called. We can talk about the dark energy spectroscopy instrument. We can talk about Euclid.
Okay, so
lots
these
of
are
pieces of
tools.
data, yeah.
Okay, so these are tools and instruments that you've measured back in time to come to your conclusion. So
Yeah.
from the data you've collected through these instruments, and you don't believe in no creator, you don't believe in no inspiration, you don't believe in no higher dimension than this physical realm.
No, I don't believe that. Although I think that extra spatial dimensions is possible, perhaps, but I don't think that we have evidence for it.
Extra spatial dimensions. So I believe we've always existed. You don't believe we've always existed.
I'm actually agnostic about it. I don't have a firm belief on it one way or the other.
Okay, so when we die, let's talk about our physical bodies. When we die, we go into a grave. Our body doesn't disappear; it just changes. It will go into the ground, deep into the ground. Yeah, and so our physical body will never disappear. It just changes. Can we agree on that?
Well, I mean, it just depends on what you mean. Like, if you take like a chair and then you grind it up into sawdust, you might be reasonable to say that like the chair disappeared. But if what you mean is that like
because you can find
it's
the
not
ingredients.
it's just not a chair, right? There is no more chair. Now you can say
But
that
you
like
can
the
find
stuff
the
that makes
energy.
up the chair
Yeah,
still
you
exists,
find
then
the
sure,
energy.
in that sense, absolutely.
Yes. Okay. So energy changes; it doesn't disappear.
Well, I would say matter
Can you
changes,
agree
it
with that?
doesn't disappear.
Yeah. Okay.
Although
changes.
matter actually can disappear, but it doesn't happen often. Ooh,
Where
why
does
is-
it disappear to?
It just annihilates and becomes electromagnetic waves.
Okay. Does that defeat the fact that the matter was there in the first place?
No.
If it's disappeared, does that mean it was never there?
No, I never said that.
Okay, so the memory of it existing is always there. So
Okay,
it
but the
does
memory
exist.
is not the thing, so that's kind of
the
irrelevant.
memory is the thing. The memory is the thing.
It's not the thing.
It is the
You
thing.
think so? That hold on, and just to be
so you
clear,
think-
because
so
I
you
just
think
gotta
our
check this.
memory-
Hold on. I just gotta check this. So if I let's say I was magic, right? Let's say I was like a genie or something.
All right. You're an atheist. You can use a better word than magic. Let's not use the word. Could you use something else?
No. Let's say it's like Harry Potter, and I'm like actually magic, right?
Okay.
So I'm like actually magic, and then I can snap my fingers and make like this water bottle cease to exist. All of the particles cease to exist. Now, it definitely doesn't exist anymore, but I still have memory of it. The memory doesn't make the water bottle exist. Right? Like just because a memory of a thing exists doesn't mean that the thing itself exists.
Okay, you used Harry Potter, so that like this conversation can get silly. But to be fair, if it was in Harry Potter, our memory of that cup can be reignited because we have the memory of it.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that the water bottle exists. It just means the memory of the water bottle exists.
Okay, so this is where I was going with it, yeah? Are you telling me inside of our brain is not a real place? Or our imagination, our memories, inside of our head?
Those memories exist.
Inside of our head.
Absolutely. Those memories exist. Those memories are not the water bottle. They're not the same thing.
But it still exists within this realm, within...
The water bottle
within
doesn't. The
universe.
memory does. Just because it no longer exists doesn't mean it never existed.
Okay, so the way I'm looking at the way this universe works, it's either ever expanding, infinitely expanding, so things can infinitely be added on as it changes, or it can infinitely shrink. So it can get smaller and smaller, but there's no end to how small it could be. What? So if we take our body, for example, we'll zoom in, we'll see blood cells. Within the blood cells, we'll see I can't go deep, but I know we will eventually reach to neutrons, protons, and electrons. And even if you zoom into neutrons, protons, and electrons, you'll still find more stuff. Do you know what we will find if we zoom into neutrons, protons, and electrons?
Well, if you zoom into electrons, as far as we know, you never find new stuff. But if you zoom into protons and neutrons, you find quarks.
So no new stuff. So what we'll find in the neutrons has always been there.
Well, the stuff in neutrons are quarks and gluons.
So can that be destroyed or created?
Quarks and gluons? Yeah, absolutely.
Where can it be created from? And
we do it all the time in particle accelerators.
How do we create it? Could you walk me through it, please?
Yeah, you smash two protons together with extremely high energy, and as a result, you rip apart
where did you find
please,
those protons?
I am still talking. You smash two protons together with extremely high energy. That causes the quarks within those protons to bump into each other and knock each other away. And as a result of separating from the other quarks that it's bound to, that energy gets used up and it's converted into new quarks popping out of existence. They never existed before, and now they exist.
But without those neutrons, it would have never been here in the first place. So it was always there. It just changed.
Just
it's
because
changed.
No, there's new quarks. The quarks didn't exist before. Now they do exist. They're new made quarks.
The quarks have existed because it came. We know where it came
from.
So
look. In a proton, there are 3 valence quarks. So if you take 2 protons, that's a total of 6 quarks, right? Smash them together, you have 6 valence quarks. You can produce a number of particles that have more than 6 quarks in total.
Okay, yeah, all right, yeah. I get the way you're explaining it, but you're not trying to see the way I see it. So
I have no idea what you're trying to say. I'd love to know, but you know.
Okay. So us as humans, yeah, we can reproduce, yeah. But before we're able to reproduce, we have to keep our body through nutrition. So we have to make sure we eat, drink a lot of water, eat all the sources, the nutrition we need to be able to produce sperm. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah, you need to eat to live and reproduce.
So if we don't eat, we will die. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, where does this food come from? Earth.
It comes from generally plants and animals.
Yep. Okay, and then if we zoom out even more, what allows us to eat the sun? Because we need plants to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Am I okay? Could you
answer
mostly
right? Like it's something like 1% of the Earth's energy budget. I think it's like 1% of the Earth's energy budget is like coming from the core of the Earth, but most of it's coming from the sun. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So the sun has a big part to play with us and the Earth's existence. Yes.
So we've been kind of dancing around stuff for a long time. Can you give me the argument for God existing?
Okay, God. We're never God. When people say God, they're looking at it as something they can reach, a one point, like a one small point we can see, or another human we can talk to and say, "Oh God, is that you? You created us. Tell us why you did this."
It sounds like you're saying that. It sounds like you're trying to straw man what I'm asking for. I just want you to present evidence of the thing that you believe in.
Okay, evidence, yeah. Me and you having an argument,
or
having a conversation now. We exist right now.
Okay, how does that mean that? Why does that mean that a God exists?
Because the more we look out, if we go into space, we will see much more other things that's beyond our comprehension.
What does that have to do with God?
Sorry, did you hear me?
Yeah, what does that have to do with God?
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, that there's other things in the universe.
Okay, so the more we zoom out, it will get even more and more out of our comprehension till it reaches the point that we can't answer why these things are happening, right?
Okay, what does that have to do with God?
So if there's things you can't figure out and there's things I can't figure out, how could you tell me that God doesn't exist?
Sorry, is this evidence for God?
This is evidence that you can't prove God is not real.
I don't think that that's what it is, but it also isn't addressing my question. It's definitely not evidence for God existing, right?
Well, if I was to tell you why I believe in God, you won't understand it. I know the type of
Well, I just want
language.
like evidence or
I know your
something, like
language.
evidence or you know, some sort of like inductive or abductive or deductive like argument or some sort of empirical evidence or something. Just something.
I can tell you miracles I've seen in real life.
I haven't seen them, so that's not going to be particularly compelling to me.
And this is how I don't want to tell you how God works. I want to tell you how God. I can only get God is within yourself, is within your own experience.
So are you telling me that you can't convince me because you can't give me the evidence?
Can I ask you something here? What
you've been asking plenty.
What made you not believe in God?
I don't have a memory of ever believing in God.
So you've never thought, is God real? You've never thought about that?
I've definitely thought about that question, but that doesn't mean that I believed it.
What made you go, nah, he can't be real?
That I didn't have any reasons to think that he was.
Okay, so you can't prove...
Like, are unicorns real? Probably not. I don't have any reason to think that they are. It's the same kind of thing.
Unicorns, if they're real within our imagination, well, and we can make robots out of them, that might count or something.
Okay, then you didn't understand the point I was making.
Yeah, don't use unicorns. We're talking about God.
No, so you just didn't understand the point I was making, which is fine.
No,
I guess.
I know you're trying to compare God to unicorns.
No, I'm not doing that either. I'm trying to give you an analogy for how I could consider the question, does God exist, and then still come to the conclusion, no, probably not.
So you believe there's a beginning. You believe there's a beginning.
No, I don't.
So you don't believe there's a beginning.
I'm agnostic about whether or not there was a beginning.
So you don't know. You haven't got the answers.
Yeah, I don't know. I absolutely don't know whether or not there was a beginning, whether it was the first moment of time.
How could you prove God? How do you come to the conclusion that God is not real if there's things you don't know?
Well, I haven't heard any compelling evidence for God existing. I have heard convincing arguments that God doesn't exist. So, like,
okay, what's convincing arguments?
I don't need to give you convincing arguments for why God doesn't exist, because I'm not trying to convince you that God doesn't exist. Presumably, you're trying to convince me that he does. So why don't you give me the evidence or the argument that God does exist?
I think the best way I can convince you is to find out the reason. You hear the evidence that you've heard and find out why you don't believe in God. Then I know what.
Well, the primary reason I just haven't seen particularly compelling evidence to the contrary.
So don't you find like the fact that we have different planets, we have the sun, and there's unknown things within the universe. Anything could be happening. You don't look at that as evidence that there's a grand architect.
I don't see how it's related to that at all.
So no one's designed this. No one's designed
unless you can give me a good reason to think that that's true. Why would I believe that?
So how is everything so perfectly sequenced in numbers?
What do you mean perfectly sequenced?
We have 10 fingers, 10 toes, okay, and we can come up with many creative ways to manifest the things in our mind. Do you believe in manifestation?
Probably not in the way that you think so.
No, we probably do. So manifestation, if someone wanted to build a house on a land, it starts off as an idea in their head.
Oh, okay. Then yeah. People can conceptualize things that they then that they then actualize. Sure.
Yes, and we can go to great lengths as a human race. We can go to great lengths in what we can manifest. We can manifest the idea of finding another livable planet, but we're too focused on arguing whether God is real or not, or we're focused on wars and everything. But that's not.
So how is this related to how is this evidence for God?
To be honest, I can't explain. I can't give you evidence of God in your language. But
okay,
you said wait. You said there's no beginning. So
no, I said to be clear, I have never said that one way or the other. I said that I said that I'm agnostic about whether or not the universe had a first moment. Well, I didn't say those exact words. I said I'm agnostic about whether or not the universe had a beginning.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I remember. So if we're at a point, a cellmate point where you don't know everything. So
yep, I don't know lots of things.
Yeah, so how do you know if God's real or not?
I've heard no good evidence for God existing, and no good arguments for God existing, and I've heard at least pretty reasonable and compelling arguments for God not existing. That's how I come to that conclusion. Look, this is a belief that I have, or rather it's a lack of belief that I have. If you want to convince me that God exists, then you should just offer a compelling argument.
So there's never been an event that occurred in your life where you couldn't explain?
Nothing notable that I can think of. But even if there were, just because something can't be explained, it doesn't mean that God did it.
Hearing it from, I see the way you're looking at it, but yeah, all right, cool. I guess I can't convince you that God is real. Thank you for the time.
Yes, victory. Get rid. No, I'm kidding. All right, thanks for being here, 2026.
Bless.
Take care. I mean, hey, appreciate the humility at the end, or the cordiality at the end. Let me read some super chats and then we'll move on to our next guest, because I missed them between the last two guests. So we have, I missed one. We have $5 from Dr. Carla. I, for one, am thrilled you're streaming today. Thanks for all you do. Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's just a normal day for me. From Sean with the £2, can I ask a question? You just did. No, but I mean, sure, of course, always. I might not see it though, unless it pops up in the super chat feed, but join the Discord. You can, yes, this is a good time to chill. If you join the Discord server at discord.gg/drblitz, you could ask me plenty of questions. Also, may as well chill for myself. If you want access to the emojis, which members have access to in various places, and you want access to my debate notes, which have a whole bunch of resources, arguments, counter-arguments, evidence, papers, summaries, then consider becoming a member on YouTube or on Patreon. Or on TikTok. We're working on getting the debate notes available to TikTok members. It's like $4 or $5 a month. It's, pretty affordable for people who are adults. Anyway, let's keep reading. From Flint and Steel with the 5 Canuck bucks, NASA's Artemis program is working on returning to the moon. Oh, did I already read this? We also have continual evidence that we went to the moon. The landing site is still there. Oh yeah, that was a repeat. From Cut by Occam with the $6.66, I couldn't have asked for a better Christmas gift than Blitz debating Christians on Christmas. Thank you. Well, you're welcome. From Jeffrey Ryan, or from Jeff Ryan, Jeffrey Ann, with the $2, we are literally brains in vats. Well, I'd ask you to prove that. From Flint and Steel again with the 2 Canuck bucks, arguing physics with a physicist. This'll go well. It never does. Never does, right? From Binary Ghost with the $5, Australia doesn't exist. It's not a real place. It is an invention by Hollywood to promote those Crocodile Dundee movies and just got out of hand. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. New Zealand does exist, though. It's just surrounded by a lot of water. We have $5 from Just Some Guy. Thank you so much, man. Hi, chat here. Blitz has won 100% of this debate. Ask ChatGPT to hug you about it. That's funny. I think chat was mostly on my side, but to be fair, chat is biased. Now from Nektu with the $2, thank you so much. The chat has decided Blitz won overwhelmingly. I believe that. But again, they're biased. From Game Master Flash with the $10, this caller is the sort that knows nothing without AI, which means he only knows things based on how he prompts, which also means he knows nothing. Thanks for once again living my nightmare, Blitz. Well, I'm glad I can do it so you don't have to. DJ, by the way, this is about you because these were being sent while you were on the live stream. Right? Like that's why they're about you, because you were making a fool of yourself on the live stream, and so they were sending these while you were on the live stream. Anyway, from Behold What God Calls Love with the $5, I wonder if this caller's mom raised him like crap out of incompetence or as revenge against the cruelty of the world. Hey, don't insult his mom. His mom's probably a lovely lady. From Ectafool with the $2, extremely insecure caller pre-declares victory. Fair. From Math Josh with the $10, thank you, man. Merry Mythia Day. That's funny. Let's all take the opportunity to celebrate the law of large numbers today, despite Mr. Effectively Zero. That's a good idea. From Daniel Warholm with the 5 Canuck bucks. So can you explain how the first cell came into being? I would just say complex chemistry. I don't know the exact mechanism, but, theists don't know the exact mechanism that God made it either, so. From Herbie Shine with the £5, caller, your mom would be ashamed of raising you to be this arrogant, obnoxious, and ignorant. Do better and apologize to your mom. You failed. Now, that's one way that we could do it. Don't blame the mom. From From Sandman with the almost 3 Canuck bucks, Blitz, just tell him already how evolution works. No, he can go ask ChatGPT. From 49 Perfect with $5, Caller is hilariously uneducated and he knows it. From Ectofool, Desperate Caller at a loss cranks up incredulity. Very true. From Sandman with the almost 3 Canuck bucks, stop dangling the worm for content and tell him. Look, I wasn't dangling the worm for content. What I was trying to do is I was trying to illustrate his lack of knowledge to speak on the matter. It's irrelevant what evolution actually is. What's relevant is that he doesn't know what it is, and yet he's making all these claims about it, right? From Actifool again, with the $2, Caller seems to still think that chat is impressed. Yeah. From Low Earth Surfer with the $2, Caller, the chat is clowning you. You read a book. Look, DJ Daniel, the chat is not great. It's not super on your side here. From Actifool again, Caller flees in triumph. All right, that probably means that all the rest of these won't be necessarily about him. We'll see. From Matthew with the $5, perhaps the evolutionary term. Genetic drift is a mechanism of evolution characterized by random fluctuations in the frequency of a gene in a population. Yeah, well, genetic drift isn't what I was getting at. Genetic drift is what causes the phenomenon that I was talking about. But yeah, that's roughly it. Cut by Ocean with the $6.66. Why do most theists proof for their God always starts with, let me ask you what your subjective opinion is on insert topic they know nothing about. That's the basic trend, yeah. That's the basic trend. From Velvet with the 2 Canuck bucks, sinner. Yeah, you could say that. But Flint and Steel responds with the 5 Canuck bucks. Can't be a sinner if we don't believe a God exists. Also, I spent more money than you, therefore I'm right. Your move. True. I mean, look, Velvet, if you want to send more money to be more right, you can. Flint and Steel sends 2 Canuck bucks again. Caller sounds like the I like it Picasso meme. I feel like I don't know that. I don't know that meme. From Jack Fetter with the $5, there's only a few left, by the way. If nothing else, I believe this helps explain the plastic bottle problem. Persistent existence, they simply can't be destroyed. Who knew? This is a metal bottle, okay? Get it right. From ZH Kane with the $5 Australian, thanks for normal day. It is a normal day. From $5 from Might You Find It Interesting. Thank you, Might You Find It Interesting. Also a very regular supporter. I think the caller nearly got into quantum chromodynamics with you. That would have been very funny, I agree. We have $2 Australian from Daryl. Chat isn't biased, chat is intelligent. Both things can be true, right? From Sean O'Connor with the £2, why do the first and second laws contradict each other? They don't. The second law says nothing about energy. From Adwayne Warren, or from Adwayne Warren with the $5, how do you explain people doing things at a personal cost or against their own interests to help other people that doesn't give them value and survival? Because evolution is not about an individual survival, it's about genetic survival. And if for example, you save a community member, the odds are that they at least prior to humans living in an international world, if you were saving your community member 10,000 years ago, they were probably pretty closely related to you. So your genes would still be passed on through them. From Pat in the chat with the $2, is there a Tokyo genetic drift? No, but it'd make a good movie. Like kind of like an Osmosis Jones thing. And from Rudigsta with the $10, asking science to prove God is a category error. Science presupposes order, logic, and the uniformity of nature. Science cannot validate its own preconditions. Never said it did. But thanks for the $10 anyway, Rue. Anyway, let's bring on our next guest. We have a lot of guests. Let's talk to Roy. Roy, how's it going?
Hey, how are you? I'm doing well. Thank you for
Glad to hear it, Roy. Of course. Roy, do you believe in a God?
I do, yes.
Okay. What would you say is like the most compelling argument or evidence you could offer me that might, convince me?
Okay. Well, this is something that I'm currently working on, so I can't present it in so I haven't figured out how to concise it in a short way. I'm working on creating premises for it. So if I take a little bit explaining it, I apologize beforehand, but
that's fine.
Okay.
I'm just gonna try to keep you on topic, but other than that, if it takes a little bit to explain, it takes a little bit to explain. That's fine.
Okay, I appreciate that. So the way I look at this is that you know, when talking about epistemology, right, I think there's justifiably, right, a natural epistemic gap between physicalism and, you know, whatever you want to call a God. So before I say that, or before committing to the Christian God, right, I kind of want to make a distinction between physicalism and some idea of intelligence. You know, like, do you think that's fair?
Yeah, sure. By the way, I don't really commit myself to being a physicalist.
Okay, yeah, and that's okay. That's fair. Within naturalism, right? Meaning, what we can observe, right, it is our evidence for existence, right? So, you know, there's empiricism, and that's the big, or that's the best way that we can observe reality within the naturalist framework. So,
well, not really. I mean, like, I wouldn't call myself an empiricist either.
Okay, so let me ask you
even
this.
though, like, I'm probably, depending on how we define the word, I'm probably a naturalist by your lights. So, like,
Okay.
I don't like. Empiricism is merely that all facts are learned externally from the external world, but I think that there are facts that you can learn purely internally. So.
Okay, so is it fair to say that within the naturalist framework, the way that we can say anything about reality is, you know, observation and, you know, measuring things? Is that fair to say?
No, as long as you include that I'm in reality, because I can learn things about myself without measuring anything, right? Without, like, I could be blind, deaf, mute, paralyzed, and I could still, you know, figure things out about myself. I could still conceptualize mathematics and do mathematics in my mind, and I have no access to the external world, right?
Oh, sure. So I guess we could say that within the naturalist framework, okay, there are just some natural gaps between what we can experience or observe and some, you know, objective reality. Because I mean, the way I see the naturalist framework, right, is that within what we can observe, right, ultimately it's relative, right? Like, you have a relative viewpoint, and even though there might be things that we agree on, right, like we can both observe a pen, you know, dropping from the air, and you know, we call it gravity. But even though there are things that we consistently agree on, ultimately it's still our relative view. I think that's fair.
I don't know what you mean by it's a relative view, but I just agree with you that there are epistemic gaps. There's plausibly an epistemic gap between, like, what science has access to and,
okay, sure,
like,
yeah,
the true nature of reality or whatever. Like that, like, fine, I'm happy to grant that.
Okay. So basically, what I'm getting to is that there's a gap within that framework, right? Now, in the alternative, right, if you want to claim that there's a God or some sort of, you know, metaphysical entity, there's also a gap there. Meaning, you could possibly justifiably say that there's this metaphysical being, but then the gap would be any sort of, like, empiricism or ontological proof. So on one hand, right, you have this natural gap within the naturalist framework, but then there seems to be sort of this asymmetry, that if I want to say that a metaphysical being is possible, well, then my gap would be being able to present it empirically, or
well, it doesn't have to be empirically. It can also be, like, deductively, abductively. Like, it could be, there are a whole bunch of different ways that you can at least try to present an argument. I mean, historically, philosophers have not relied on empirics. At least good philosophers have not relied on empirics to try to present arguments for God. They rely on, like, you know, more formal notions, like, you know, deductive proofs and things like that.
Okay, sure. So, I guess what I'm trying to say, that even if there's something that you can provide deductively, right? Ultimately, there's some things that I can't present to you physically for you to observe.
I mean, sure, but deductive arguments, I don't know, do you think that deductive arguments are like physical?
No, I don't.
So then, like, okay, so maybe, like, if what you're saying is, well, there can't be empirical evidence for God, and that's not like really strictly true. Like, depending on your notion of God, there could be. In fact, that's kind of like the whole business behind Christianity is, you know, like Jesus resurrected. That's supposed to be the empirical evidence, right? But setting that aside, okay, if you say that you can't provide empirical evidence, then provide some sort of deductive or abductive reasoning. Then that leads to the same conclusion.
Well, yeah. So I agree with you. I'm sorry. That's my kid in the background.
That's fine.
He's fine. He's just crying because he wants to play with a toy. He's having trouble.
You're fine.
So I agree with you, right? There can be empirical evidence for a God, and ultimately, what I'm trying to say is that, you know, when you look at these different ways of building epistemic foundations, whether it's, you know, physicalism, empiricism, naturalism, you know, whichever way you want to call it, or if you want to go the metaphysical route to explain how we have existence in the first place, right? I think that the way I look at it is, okay, how can we bridge these two methods, right, of knowledge, right? What model is justifiable? Because I mean, I'm not trying to prove to you like 100% without a doubt that God exists, right?
You don't need to. You just need to present compelling argumentation or compelling evidence.
Of course, and that's ultimately
that's what I'm asking for.
Okay, perfect. So I think that if we can present a model, right, that fits these two categories, right, of naturalism and metaphysics, and it's highly justifiable, right? I think that it raises its viability by making the alternative less probable.
Okay, so you're saying that if you can make the alternative, which is that no God exists, if you can make that worldview less probable, then the alternative that some God exists is more probable. Okay, sure. How are you going to do that?
Or at very least becomes more probable.
Yeah, okay. How are you going to do that? And I swear to God, if this was 8 minutes of confusing epistemology just to get to precept, I'm going to be so upset with you.
Okay, that's fair, and that's fair. I don't think I'm presupposing, but if I am, then, you know, we can dissect that.
Go ahead.
I think that the model that best describes this bridge, right, is not only God, but specifically the triune God. And the reason I say that is because in the Trinity, right? Because the reason the Trinity is important for this model is that we have everything you need to bridge these two frameworks.
Well, isn't that begging the question? You said the reason it's the Trinity is because in the Trinity you have everything you need to bridge the frameworks. And the reason why you're saying it's the Trinity is because the Trinity bridges I'm sorry. You said that the Trinity is the framework, and you said the reason why...
the Trinity...
Sorry. You said that the Trinity is the best model to bridge this gap because the Trinity has what's necessary to bridge the gap. Like, that doesn't provide any explanatory power. It's very, very close to begging the question. So you'll have to do better than that.
Okay, so before you dissect that, which is totally fair, let me just quickly finish the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I say that is because we have the metaphysical aspect, right, which is God, right, or let's call it the essence,
sure,
or the nature of God.
Fine word.
Okay, perfect. But then you also have the empiricism, which is Christ, right, which is the manifestation of God in the flesh, and that would be the empirical bridge between the two frameworks.
Why? Look, suppose that I was like a naturalist. Why would I think that there is a bridge that needs to be built at all? If I'm a naturalist, then I don't think that there should be any bridge because a naturalist thinks that there's some sort of causal closure, like physical causal closure. Sure. So there's no need to engage with anything in the metaphysical. Arguably, there's no metaphysical at all under a naturalist's framework. So there's no need to bridge a gap.
Okay, so the reason I think that there would be, or there should be a reason to, is if we're looking at naturalism just within its framework, right? If there are things within that framework that seem contradictory as to how that reality would exist, then I think that you have a justifiable reason to explore other options.
Okay, so can you give me that thing? The thing that's contradictory? Great.
So before I claim that it's, obviously 100% contradictory, how would the naturalist, how would they explain, right, or justify the fact that physical objects are contingent and, some type of infinite linear model? Now, I think it's fair to ask you, like, do you think in the naturalist framework, do you think that it was caused or uncaused? What's your view on that?
What was caused or uncaused?
Well, the universe.
Yeah, I mean, like, depends on what notion of cause you're using. If you're using like the standard physics notion of cause, then it's kind of by definition uncaused.
Okay, so do you think
by the universe you mean everything physical, right?
Yeah, sure, yeah. I guess the question is, do you think the cyclic model is more probable or the big bounce model? Like, how do you see that?
I'm pretty agnostic about it. I'm agnostic about whether there was a first moment or not.
I see what you mean. And what's your view on infinite linear time and whether that's like actually possible in reality?
It seems totally possible. It seems at least like logically possible. Now, like whether or not the laws of physics allow it is a different question. But we just don't know what the laws of physics are that would rule that out. So at least like epistemically, it seems totally possible.
Okay, I see. Now, so you said you're agnostic on the fact, right?
Mm-hmm.
On certain models for beginnings. Now, even though you're not claiming that, for sure, right? I think that it's justifiable to look at these models and say, okay, well, we have pretty good ways to describe reality, right? Like general relativity, the space-time model. These are, foundational to what we have right now.
Yeah, they're pillars of physics, if you will. Sure.
Sure. The issue is that the issue that I have with naturalism is these are things that we use to describe, how we observe our surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
They don't necessarily tell you how or anything about certain abstract parts of epistemology. So even though I grant you that you're saying, okay, I'm agnostic on these things, the fact that these models we use have certain limits of what they can explain, I think it's justifiable to say, okay, if these models have certain limits of what they can explain or what they try to explain, I think at least in principle it's justifiable to say, can we look outside of this to try to find an answer of what we're looking for?
I don't think, to be clear, the goalposts shifted enormously. You started with contradictions in naturalism. And then you're saying, well, naturalism can't explain everything. Or rather, I shouldn't even say that. Now you're saying, well, some of the physical models that we have available to us in the year of our Lord 2025 can't explain everything. So we can just appeal to, maybe we should just start looking for a God for explanation. Like, that is textbook God of the gaps.
The reason I don't think it's God of the gaps is because so the way I started my argument is that before I commit to the Christian God specifically, right, the way that I think it's justifiable is that even before you get to the Christian God, right, if you start looking outside, naturalist means of explaining things, right, I think it's justifiable to make deductions. And you brought up deductions earlier in saying that I think it's justifiable to try to make certain deductions and get to a conclusion that makes some sort of metaphysical being justifiable.
Okay, so what's the deduction then?
Well, the deduction is if right, physicalism, right? Because I think within physicalism, there has to be a limit of possible ways you can explain physicalism within that framework. Meaning,
so to be clear, physicalism is not an epistemic position; it's an ontological position, right? So it doesn't even make sense to say that there's an epistemic gap in physicalism. Like there isn't. Now, you might say that there's an epistemic gap between some theory of ontology and some theory of the way that we gain knowledge. Like you might say that methodological naturalism or something maybe has an epistemic gap between that and the Platonic realm if you believe in both things, but like it's just not correct to say that there's like a gap in physicalism, right? Physicalism is a particular view on ontology. So like what's the actual...
I see what you're saying. I can agree with that, yeah.
So your initial argument, at least as far as I can understand, because it was kind of meandering, which, you said it would be, which is okay. Your initial argument was something like, well, we can make naturalism less likely, and therefore supernaturalism more likely. So how do you make naturalism less likely? Like what facts of the matter, what states of affairs of the world, what logical deductions or abductions can you present that makes naturalism less likely?
Okay, yeah. Now, like I get what you're saying. I don't know if I would use the language "make" because it's sort of, it seems like...
Why don't you say, okay, suggests that naturalism is less likely? Fine. You can. I just actually want the argument here, because we've now been going on for 18 minutes, but I still don't know what the actual argument is. Unless it's just that, oh, well, empirics can't get you to the metaphysics, and if that's the whole argument, then like it doesn't really work.
So I would say, and yeah, I mean, I don't want to rant too long, and that's why I said I'm working on this currently, and I thought, hey, it'd be a good idea to present it to you and have someone with your expertise dissect it, which is helpful to me in the long run. But I would say the argument is that if we're trying to ultimately find out, okay, what best describes reality, right? Like what best describes how things are and how they began and so forth. If you have a model, right, that best fits or best bridges, physicalism, metaphysics, I think it's something to think about. I think it's justifiable. I think...
Right. But a physicalist doesn't think that there's anything to bridge. So why would a physicalist then... How does that weaken the physicalist's position? If a physicalist doesn't think that there's anything that needs bridging.
Well, I think something reasonable is to tell a physicalist, hey, you might not think that there is a reason, right, or anything to bridge, but kind of think about the framework that you want to subscribe to, and think about these possible anomalies, like you said, I think there's a reason why you're agnostic on... I'm
agnostic about the origins of the universe.
On the origins, yeah. And I think, within the framework of physicalism, I just truly think that by nature, that agnosticism, it's just always going to be there to a certain degree, because I think there's a limit to how many ways you can describe the existence of physicality, right? Like because of its
we certainly haven't hit that limit yet. So maybe if we hit that limit in 1,000 years and we try every single conceivable possible theory and still none of them work, then maybe you'll have a good argument. But we're definitely not there.
Now,
and so to say that I will always remain agnostic then is to try to predict the future about what will happen. But unless I have a reason to agree with you, why would I?
Now, let me ask you this, because I think you made an interesting point. How do you know, right? Or maybe you're agnostic on this, or what gives you any sort of like confidence that we ever could get to that place just by...
I don't have any degree of confidence. I'm just very hopeful.
Okay. So and that's ultimately, like, at least right now. And look, everything I'm saying, I'll grant you that, even though I'm a Christian, right? I'll grant you that if we discover some sort of third, model in this dichotomy, I would be open to.
No, I mean, look,
you get what I'm saying?
No, because the point is that it's conceivable, right? That we could come up with a theory of everything, for example. I mean, maybe it's not string theory, but maybe it's something else. It's conceivable that we could come up with a theory of everything that would explain the origins of the universe. And then we would test it and we would find out it's true. And they would still be completely self-contained physicalism, right? So it's not necessarily the case that you need a third thing aside from metaphysicalism, by the way, like, physicalists can still do metaphysics. Like, metaphysics is not just... It's not the case that we need a third thing aside from naturalism and supernaturalism. Right. It could just be that naturalism is correct. We just haven't figured it out. Now, I'm not saying that, like, in the future we will. Like, I'm saying that this is at least logically possible, right?
Right.
So, like,
it
seems reasonable to be agnostic. It seems reasonable, like, to be agnostic about the origins of the universe when we don't have a good explanation one way or the other. If an explanation comes around one day, great. If not, then great, we'll be agnostic.
Yeah, and I mean, I agree with that. I think you made some very good points there. I think all I was trying to say is that what we can work with and deduce is stuff that we currently know, right? Like, everything I'm saying is because these are things that currently we're aware of. I guess that's what I was trying to say. But I agree with you. I don't think we need anything outside of these two alternatives. I would say ultimately my argument is that I do think that this Trinitarian model is a good fit to bridge these two frameworks. I think
but
that
if I don't think that there is a supernatural, then I don't think that there's a framework that needs to be bridged. Right. Like, so, like, it's like, sure, it might be the case that if you believe in the supernatural, then maybe the Trinity is something that connects the supernatural to the natural in, like, a reasonable way. And, like, more power to you. If you have good reasons to believe that, by all means, believe it. You can believe whatever you want. As long as you don't oppress me, I don't care. But, like, it's not a reason for me to believe if I don't already believe in the supernatural.
Sure, yeah, and I think that within my explanation, right, there could be a whole nother day-long conversation with I don't think you want to get into, because you probably you got other guests waiting, but yeah, I mean that's what I wanted to present today. I think that the way I look at it is, I'm not just I think there's a difference between looking at, let's say I look at thunder and I just automatically say, oh, that's God doing it. I think there's a difference
but most
between
people
that.
don't think that. Like, nobody thinks that anymore. I don't think that you guys think that. You guys don't think that. Nobody thinks that anymore. Right?
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
So it's a straw man everywhere. All right, but Roy, I'm going to let you go then, because it seems like we've reached the end. But thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate you. And keep working on the argument. Maybe you'll come up with something good.
No, and thank you. I want to wish you and everybody a happy holiday, Merry Christmas. Thank you for having me.
Take care. I mean, he was super cordial. It just didn't go anywhere. All right, let's read some super chats, then we'll move on to our next guest. We have $10 from Warforge. Thank you so much, man. We all know the Big Bang started with a collapsing start, but who initiated the collapse? Sure, science can prove stuff, but that's the one question that I believe: why God did the Big Bang. Why do you assume it's a who? It's 200 rupees from E1LG. So are you an agnostic or an absolute atheist? As in being adamant about God or something similar not existing, and the universe being spontaneous randomness. There's a lot to unpack there. So I'm agnostic about whether or not the universe has an origin, meaning about whether or not the universe has a first moment of time. The second point is that being an atheist doesn't mean that you think that the universe was spontaneous randomness. It's not either God or spontaneous randomness. It's not a true dichotomy. But yeah, generally if you're online long enough, and I don't use this language because it's confusing, but people might call me an agnostic atheist, meaning that, like, I don't claim absolute certainty, but I definitely don't believe it's true, right? We have $5 from James Anthony. Damn it, Dr. Blitz, now I want an Osmosis Jones 2 Tokyo Genetic Drift. Wasn't there a TV show that they made? Because it was so good. From Pat in the chat with the $2. Happy 382nd birthday, Isaac Newton. Yeah, happy birthday. Happy birthday, Zach. From Simeon Urchin with the $5. What's your opinion on cosmological natural selection? It assumes that universes come to being from black holes, but the concept is neat enough. The concept is neat. The trouble is that Lee Smolin, who came up with the idea, made a prediction, and it just didn't really come true. We keep finding heavier and heavier neutron stars, which he suggested if we did, cosmological natural selection would be falsified. So like there's still a little bit of wiggle room, but it's like not looking good. From Dwayne Warren with the $5. So if you believe morality is an evolutionary trait for gene survival only, then man is the measure and the variation would be greater in moral standards. You don't have to believe that morality is an evolutionary trait for gene survival and be an atheist. Those two things are not necessarily the same thing. You can be an objective, you could believe in an objective morality and still be an atheist. But second, the variation in moral standards is really big. There are some things that seem to be kind of built in, like kind of hardwired, if you will, perhaps genetically or epigenetically or whatever, in our in like that gives rise to a certain psychology, like aversion to gore, for example. But like there's a huge variation. Like for example, there's some place in the world that are fine with slavery, and I'm absolutely not fine with slavery. There's some place in the world that are absolutely fine with like child labor, but I'm not fine with child labor. So like there's a huge amount of variation in moral standards across the world and across time. Thank you for the extra $2, Dwayne. I appreciate it. Here's another $5. Science is the language we use to explain the world. Just because our ruler can't reach spirit level doesn't mean the spirit doesn't exist. Yeah, I would just need an argument as to, look, so if you could measure something, then that's good reason to think that it exists. But if you can't measure it, I need another good reason to think it exists before I think it exists. I think I read this already from Sean O'Connor. Why do the first and second laws contradict each other? They don't. The second law has nothing to do with energy. From Dwayne Warren, I think I read this one. I think I read this one too. Yeah, I read this one already. From Rue Digsta. I already read this. Why are these coming up again? I read that. I read that. I read that. This is so weird. From Reverend Nate with the 5 Canuck bucks, I get the impression Caller read the Coles notes, Cliff Notes for the Americans here, of Tag Precept and decided that was enough to call it. It didn't seem quite like Tag, actually. From Pat in the chat, don't convince me God exists. Convince me you weren't fooled by Satan. The Bible makes way more sense as the word of Satan than God. Yeah, maybe. From Scottish with the £5, transcendental argument for God. Disjunctive syllogism is ought gap. You can't get an ought from an is. Yeah, sure. That's true. From Reverend Nate with the 2 Canuck bucks, serious Q, what's your hair care routine? I shampoo every other day and I condition every day. £20 from Scottish. Thank you so much, man. I think that this is like a hate watching comment, but I appreciate it regardless. Let's read it. Tag, transcendentals, truth, knowledge, morals, identity, self-mind, knowledge, math. These are presumed asserted and is an ontological basis before doing or saying anything, and require a being to ground them to have meaning. Well, I don't think that I guess it depends on what you mean by a being, but it's not even clear that these are presumed and or asserted. It's not clear that they require a grounding. There's a whole bunch of stuff. From Scottish, again with the 10, Scottish is very much in favor of the Tag for being somebody who's donating so much. Value is a transcendental, is it? From Use IRC with the $5, thank you, man. Happy Newton, Miss Dr. Blitz. Thank you for the public service. I do my best. Hydrate. Oh shit, my water bottle is empty. Here, let me text my wife who loves me a lot. Maybe she'll fill up my water bottle. And then I have to send the crying emojis so that she feels bad for me. She's great though. And then we have 100 Mexican pesos from Rodblow Alres. You cannot go against nature because when you do go against nature, it's part of nature too. Part of the most consequential song in my life, No New Tell to Tell by Love and Rockets. Cannot go against nature because when you, yeah, that's one of the reasons why I kind of don't call myself a physicalist, because it seems like it has some issues. Like it seems like we would just call whatever new thing that didn't used to be part of physicalism, we would call that new thing physical, right? She's the best. I love her a lot. All right, let's bring up our next guest. All right, let's bring up Maskless Messiah. Maskless Messiah, how's it going?
Hey, I just wanted to just give us, I'm not here to debate on this. I just wanted to make a quick little point. I had discovered the whole family problem of particle physics. And I think I may have a clue to the answer to the problem.
I suspect you probably don't, but if you do, don't tell me. Go write a paper about it and win a Nobel Prize.
You don't want to hear it?
No, I want you to write a paper about it first. Write a paper about it, submit it to PRL or to Nature or whatever, win a Nobel Prize, and then I'll hear about it. Thank you so much. I don't know what that word means. All right, let's talk to KY. All right, it looks like KY is not connecting. All right, looks like KY is not connecting. Let's read some super chats because we got a few more on the way. From Dwayne Warren, again with the $5. Would you disagree that people knowingly do wrong? I think most of the time. Well, okay, I don't think most of the time. I would think that most people don't think that they're bad people. Let's put it that way. And from Scottish with the £10, nah, I don't hate you. First time watching. Tag is just a very interesting argument that throws every other paradigm under the bus, and to say otherwise is irrational. I don't think it throws every other paradigm under the bus. I didn't mean that you hate me, but generally people who disagree with the prompt generally don't send money. So, you know, we call it hate watching or hate donating or whatever. Obviously you don't hate me, like I'm sure you're a chilled guy. I don't think that tag is a particularly good argument though, because, you know, it doesn't actually demonstrate what it tries to do. So anyway, there's a reason why philosophers don't really, like serious philosophers in, you know, actual philosophical journals don't worry about it. Like it's not really discussed. From writer AI Inge with the $2, thank you. We do the same haircut or hair care, but mine isn't as lustrous. Well, I might just be lucky. Oh, actually, it's time to put the hair down. Let's do it. There we go. The locks are down. All right, let's bring up, looks like this person's not connecting. Can you hear me? All right, move on to another guest. Let's talk to Taha Hashem. Taha Hashem, how's it going?
How's it going, man? I'm doing all right.
Good, glad to hear it. Taha, do you believe in a God?
Yes, I do believe in a God.
And what would you say is the most compelling argument you could offer me as somebody who doesn't, that such a God is real?
Oh, all right, well, obviously for like different people, they'd have different needs to like actually have proof, but how about like reincarnation, bro? Like there's documented cases about it.
Documented cases of how would you document reincarnation?
So basically there's this documentary, you can watch it online, with a bunch of people, right? So there was this little boy, right? And I don't know where he started telling his parents. So ever since a kid, like a baby, he'd cry when he was sleeping. He'd tell his parents, "Oh, fire, fire, little man's on fire," right? And they'll say, "Who's the little man?" And then he'd say him. And as he'd grow up, he'd always tell them stories about how he used to be a pilot and in the army fighting the Japanese. And they started asking more questions about it. And he told them who he was. I could look it up.
Yeah, if you could give me the name of the person, I'd love to read a study on it.
Okay, yeah. Just give me 1 second.
Yeah, I'm just gonna Google Japanese pilot, American pilot.
Yeah, exactly.
Reincarnation kid. Huh. It was James Leininger. All right, let's just search James Leininger. All right, let's go to the case of James Leininger. This is a paper written, it's a case report, written in 2016. Numerous cases of young children who report memories of previous lives have been studied over the last 50 years. Though such cases are more easily found in cultures that have a general belief in reincarnation, That's weird.
not
They
him,
occur
though.
in the West as well. This article describes the case of Jane Leininger, an American child who at age 2 began having intense nightmares of a plane crash. He then described being an American pilot who was killed when his plane was shot down by the Japanese. He gave details that included the name of an American aircraft carrier, the first and last name of a friend who was on the ship with him, and a location of other specifics about the fatal crash. His parents eventually discovered a close correspondence between James's statements and the death of a World War II pilot named James Huston. Documentation of James's statements that was made before Huston was identified included a television interview with his parents that never aired, but which the author has been able to review. Okay, so let's look at this. So this is an introduction, probably not super relevant. Case presentation. He was born in 1998. Okay. His father took him to Kavanaugh Flight Museum outside of Dallas as they were living in Texas at the time. James was fascinated by the planes, and in particular by the World War II exhibit. Okay, so we definitely had learned about World War II before.
Well, this was after. But...
No, this was before.
Could you reread it?
Yeah. So
what age was he?
James was born on April 10th, 1998. As related by his parents, the first notable incident occurred in the case occurred in February 2000 when he was 22 months old. His father took him to the Kavanaugh Flight Museum outside of Dallas. As they were living in Texas at the time, James was fascinated by the planes and in particular by the World War II exhibit. When they left after 3 hours, James had some toy planes as well as a video called It's a Kind of Magic About the Blue Angels, the Navy's flight exhibition team. James loved the video and he watched it repeatedly for weeks. The trip and the video started or uncovered his love for planes. This passion may have led to some, so there were no incidents here.
Could you continue reading?
I can keep reading. I'm skimming it really quick just to see like actually the first place that there's an incident. So then it says, within 2 months of the first trip, James developed a habit of saying airplane crash on fire and slamming his toy planes nose first into the family's coffee table. Okay, so that was the first incident. That was 2 months after he went to the Kavanaugh Flight Museum, where he was fascinated by the World War II exhibits.
Okay, continue reading because later on he tells
I'm not going to read the entire thing on the live stream because it would just take forever and it'd be boring for everybody.
No problem. So this
but
kid,
so clearly this didn't come from nowhere. Like there's at least room to think that he was he was interested in this stuff because he went to the museum, not because he reincarnated, right?
Okay, but the thing is
now
sorry, go ahead.
So I'm just skimming past. So there's a lot of reports from his parents. Which, how I guess we can question how reliable that is, but there's a lot of reports from his parents about things that he said and things that happened. I'm looking for anything of like something happening that was not just his parents reporting it. His father reports that James pointed to a picture showing an aerial view of the base of the island. A week after that, James' father talked to a veteran from Natoma Bay who remembered a pilot named Jack Larson. He said Larson flew off one day and never returned, so no one knew what happened to him. He was having ongoing nightmares. Then the parents contacted Carol Bowman, who had written a book about children's past life memories. They began a lengthy correspondence. James' mother started acknowledging to him that the events he was describing had indeed happened to him before, while emphasizing that they were in the past and he was now safe. James' parents said that when he became old enough to draw, he drew hundreds of battle scenes. James may have thought of himself as the third James because James Huston, the pilot, was James Jr. He signed them with James III. Okay, that's at least something. In 2002, James' parents were interviewed by ABC's News for the segment that was to be part of a program called Strange Mysteries. The program never aired, but since I was also interviewed for it, ABC sent me a copy of the segment. At the time of the interview, Huston had not been identified. Table 1 lists the items that were included in the report and their subsequent comparison to Huston's experiences. They were all correct, or at least partially correct for Huston. So let's go look at Table 1. So, he says, Mama, before I was born, I was a pilot and my airplane got shot in the engine and it crashed in the water and that's how I died. This source of information comes from James's mother. And the memoir of a veteran who saw Huston's plane get hit. This is how it was verified. James's father also talked to 3 eyewitnesses. One later told a television interview, I saw the hit. I would say he was hit head on. Yeah, right on the middle of the engine. Okay, so, I would say he was hit head on. Yeah, right in the middle of the engine. Okay. Then it says that he died in the Battle of Iwo Jima. The narration states that James may have been one of the pilots. Wait, where does it say that he died in the Battle of Iwo Jima? What was the claim from the kid? How is that? I don't understand where that came from. Where that claim came from.
Why don't you read what you just said?
I'm reading it right now. So like I can show you the thing I'm looking at. I'll just pull it up for everybody. Here we go. Here's what I'm looking at. Just so everybody can see it. This is the paper.
Okay. Continue reading where you left off.
So I was looking at this table, and so there's a quote from the kid, which, okay, that's a quote. I imagine that it's a quote. But then it just says, died in the Battle of Iwo Jima. Oh, yeah, sorry.
What does the quote say?
It's that's Mama, before I was born, I was a pilot, and my airplane got shot in the engine, and it crashed in the water, and that's how I died. That's the thing I already read, and it talks about a memoir. But then the next item is died in the Battle of Iwo Jima, but it doesn't say, like, where that claim came from.
Maybe if you continue reading, it'll tell you.
I'm looking. So following the interview, James's father corresponded with an ABC producer about the name Jack Larson. She had contact, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so then it was determined that this man was not Jack Larson on Natoma Bay. The correspondence between James's father and the producer is a useful documentation that he was indeed searching at the time for a man with that name. I'll just do Control F for Iwo Jima. One day when James was just over 2.5, his father was looking through a book he was planning to give his own father for Christmas, one called The Battle for Iwo Jima. His father reports that James pointed to a picture showing an aerial view of the base of the island where Okay, so that's another father report. So we have a father.
Could you continue reading that part? I was seeing.
I'm not going to read the whole. I'm not going to read the whole text because it would take forever. It would take forever.
Part that talks about the Battle of Iwo.
No, but the point is that this is just something that the father reports, right?
Okay, yeah, still, but just read it. It might be useful.
It's not, because it's just the dad saying that this happened.
Okay, but the kid pointed at a picture and said that
the dad says that that's what happened. That's the issue.
Okay, so what's your point if
my point is that that's not particularly reliable. So let's say that all of this is true and that reincarnation is real. What does this have to do with God?
Well, what other logical explanation for
that's not an argument. Come on, do better than that.
Let me finish what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm saying what other logical explanation besides God taking someone's soul and putting it in a different body is other than God?
Maybe Buddhism is real and there's no God, but reincarnation is just a thing that souls do?
Buddhism, I'm pretty sure they believe in a God.
Not all types of Buddhism. No, some Buddhism, some types do, sometimes don't.
Okay. So you could say, okay, what sects don't believe in the God in Buddhism?
I think Theravada Buddhism doesn't believe in a God. If I remember correctly, Theravada Buddhism. Buddhism is famously it's famously considered more of a philosophy because there are some sects or some branches or something that do believe in gods and some branches that don't.
I'm searching up what sects of Buddhism doesn't exist.
Buddhism?
God. Buddhism, yeah.
I'm a fan of Buddhism, to be honest.
Yeah, I like it too, but I'm not gonna lie. That and Hinduism. A little bit laggy. Hold on.
So if you look at Theravada Buddhism, Theravada and Zen Buddhism are often more agnostic or atheistic in practice, focusing purely on the Buddhist teachings and mind training, viewing deities metaphorically. There's Tibetan Buddhism, which incorporates powerful deities. So Tibetan Buddhism does have some sort of deities, but Theravada and Zen Buddhism don't apparently. So
how do they explain reincarnation then?
They just say that that's a thing souls do before they can reach enlightenment.
And what is enlightenment? I'm sorry, I have trouble.
Go talk to a Buddhist.
I mean, but even don't they believe in a higher power though?
No, at least not all of them.
What is enlightenment?
Enlightenment is like nirvana. It's pure bliss. Sometimes it's also ceasing to exist. By the way.
Ceasing to exist. Well.
Yeah, because they want to escape they want to escape the torment of living, but until they've reached enlightenment, they can't do that because they have to be reborn over and over again until they can whatever. Like it's like a whole thing. But like they have reincarnation. They don't have a god, so it doesn't. So it's just not the case that reincarnation means a god is real.
Okay, but how about souls? Do you believe in souls?
I don't.
Okay, well, all right. So how about this case, right? It was also a documented case. This person in a hospital bed. Apparently she said that she died for a little bit, right? And she got brought back to life, and she said that she seen, I think it was like a shoe or a notepad or something like that, like above the ceiling, and they checked above the ceiling and they seen it.
I've heard this claim a lot. I've never actually seen somebody produce evidence that this happened.
Okay, let me try to search it up. Is that okay with you?
But look, even if that's true, suppose that happened. That doesn't mean a god is real. Right? That maybe says something about like souls are real, or that reincarnation is real, or that near-death experiences are real, but it doesn't say anything about a god existing.
Okay, no problem. But we can conclude that there could be a chance. There is some evidence that even though like it's not fully like It's not like fully convincing people, but there is some evidence of reincarnation and souls, right?
I mean, I'd have to look into it further. Like, I generally am very skeptical of these claims, but like, sure, let's say for a moment that there is some evidence. What does that have to do with God?
Well, I feel like well, you did say like Buddhism, they believe in reincarnation, they don't believe in God, but
Yeah.
at the same time, most people when they hear about like about reincarnation and souls, they're gonna assume it's from God. That's like the most
Okay,
logical
but
explanation.
those people are mistaken then. Fine. Because that's not a necessary consequence.
Yeah, okay. I mean, sure. I guess so. I mean, that was just my take on that.
Okay, so you don't have an argument for God, you have an argument for reincarnation, maybe?
Yeah, I'd say reincarnation and souls, but how about like all the prophets and messengers? Like you believe they were just lying or they're mistaken or what?
It depends on which ones you're talking about.
Like how about like Jesus, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, Moses?
So I think that we probably don't know what Jesus's actual claims were.
Okay.
I think that Muhammad was either delusional, which is possible, or more likely a grifter.
What's a grifter?
Somebody who's doing it for the money, maybe for the bitches. Not that I support doing anything for the bitches, by the way. Women are women, not bitches.
But the thing is, though, that would like backfire on you if you say he was doing it for the money, or because before he claimed to be a prophet, like there was this woman. Her name is Khadija. She was a very high class woman. She had a lot of money, and when she married him for his character, and she turned down a bunch of other people. And when he got the money, he donated it all away. Like he wouldn't keep any money, and he had a bunch of resources to get money, but he made sure to feed the poor instead of taking it for himself. So how would you explain that if he was doing it for
So
money?
look, there's a particular reason why I say this, and let me see if I can find the verse. Is it 24:33?
We're probably talking about taxes, but go ahead.
No, we're definitely not. Let me see it. There's a particular verse where basically, I'll just recount a summary, and then I can explain what I can go look for the.
I'll look for the
verse later. But roughly what happens is that Muhammad's two wives, Aisha and somebody else, are upset that Muhammad is having sex with a slave. And then Muhammad's like, "Oh yeah, I'll never do it again. I promise. I promise. I promise."
That's not what happened.
And then Allah says, "No, you can't promise that. You're allowed to have sex with a slave because I said so."
Well, okay, but but the thing is, it wasn't about sex. She was literally like eating with her, and they got mad. They got jealous that he was eating with her.
I actually think that that's not what the. I mean, we can go find the verse and we can find what the hadith say.
Do you remember? By the way, it doesn't talk about it in the verse.
No, it says
it talks about it in the hadith.
Yeah, I know.
No, the verse, it talks about how they got upset.
What's the verse? Do you know the verse?
I'm gonna search up the exact verse because I can't remember the. But I know this. I talk about this a lot.
And if anybody in the comments happens to know the verse, Surah 65:4. Okay.
You found it?
Somebody in the comments is saying that. Let's see if that's the right one. No, it's not the right one.
No, it's not.
And is it 434? Somebody else wrote 434. Who knows if that's the right one? No, it's not that one. But you know what? So look, my point is that verse is at least consistent with the man doing it so that he can get laid. With the man saying all this stuff so that he can get laid.
You can't say that because it doesn't talk about that.
No, I mean it's consistent with it, right? It's consistent with it. There's no contradiction with that interpretation.
Hold on, how is that consistent with that?
Because consistent means that there's no contradiction there, right?
Okay, just because there's no contradiction doesn't mean it's true.
And not only is it consistent, it actually provides an explanation for why that verse exists.
Yeah, the hadith, it doesn't. There's a hadith.
No, I'm talking about the verse. The hadith provides an explanation for the verse, right? But the point is if we have one hypothesis where Muhammad was a grifter, then that would be a good explanation for why that verse exists at all, right?
The thing is, I can tell you why the verse
if the
exists
hadith
right
is
now,
correct.
No, the hadith, it goes against what you're saying though.
We'll have to find the verse.
Okay, find the
I
verse.
wonder if Ems is here. I usually don't shout out Ems, but I just can't find this verse for the life of me. Maybe somebody in the.
I'll find it right now.
Okay.
It won't take me that long.
Oh, Ems, is that you? Oh, no. Interstellar is not Ems. Ems is not here. Shame. There is such a verse. Yeah. I read it like a month ago. It says Quran 66, verse 1.
Found it?
Maybe. Is it this one? Is it verse 1? Yeah, it's verse 1. It's 66:1. 66 verse 1. O Prophet, why do you prohibit yourself from what Allah has made lawful to you, seeking to please your wives? And Allah is all-forgiving, most merciful. Allah has already ordained for your believers the way to absolve yourself from your oaths, for Allah is your guardian, and He is the all-knowing, all-wise. So the question then is what is this referring to, this first verse? Because, by the way, this is like not written in a particularly coherent way, because literally the previous verse isn't anything at all about this. It's just a completely random. It's like beginning the story in the middle, and it has no explanation for what happens.
Yeah, the Quran, it's not written in
it's not written in a coherent way. I agree.
No, in chronological order.
Oh, okay. So it's not written perfectly.
No, it's not. Well, this Quran, no, it's not. I don't believe the Quran is preserved.
Oh, you don't believe the Quran is preserved?
No.
Okay.
Well,
but the thing is, so I mean, if you're not a Muslim, I don't see what the issue is with thinking that.
I am a Muslim. I'm just not a mainstream Muslim.
Oh, okay. So do you think that it's possible? But okay. So the question is then, what is being referred to here as the thing that Muhammad is prohibiting himself from? Yeah, tell me.
Okay, so what he was prohibiting himself from was visiting another woman, and the reason why is because he, first of all, he went and he ate like he basically he was eating with this woman, right? And then Aisha, and I think it was
I'm sorry, he was eating?
Yeah, he was eating with them.
Yes, definitely. He was in private with another woman eating.
Yeah, so you never eat with a woman?
You know, he was just hiding from his wives that he
wasn't hiding from his wife. You never go out
with another woman.
Okay,
I mean,
so
he was eating something.
And you never went and hung out with a woman and ate with her before. You think that's just out of bounds for you?
Oh no, I absolutely have.
Okay,
why would his wives be upset about it?
Huh? Wait, so
why would his wives be upset about it? If he was just
because they're very jealous.
Eating.
They were very jealous wives. That's why.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And he
so do you
said,
have any evidence that he was eating? Is that the claim?
Do I have evidence he was eating?
Yeah, that's what's happening here.
Because that's what the girl said. That's what he said, and nobody
Wait, it
else
doesn't say that in the Quran, right?
It says it in the Hadith.
Okay, so where in the Hadith does it say that that's what was happening and that it definitely wasn't sex? And are there other Hadiths that say the same thing? Are there other Hadiths that contradict that?
No, there's no other Hadith that says something else.
I mean, we can look. I'm looking at the tafsir right now, by the way.
Look at the tafsir.
Yeah, I am.
You read it out loud.
It's really long. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Like we did earlier, I'm not reading the whole thing.
Read the premises of it.
There's a lot, right?
Just read the main idea.
Do you want to see what I'm looking at?
I know.
I'm looking at I'm looking at the whole damn thing. There's not one main premise.
MashaAllah. Just okay. Does it say whether they were eating or doing something else?
I'm reading it. I'm looking.
Okay.
So there's one part where it's claiming that Allah's messenger used to stay for a period in the house of Zainab bint Jahsh and drink honey in her house.
Okay, exactly. They were eating.
Right. That's one claim, right? And so, like, you know, look, so I could absolutely be wrong about this, and it could very well be the case that I was misled by a former Muslim who I have no reason to be misled by. He has told me, and he's told other similar friends, that there is an understanding that this was done. Actually, you know what? I can Google this. That this was done because he was having sex with his slave wife. Let me go see if I can find evidence of that. Okay. If not, I'll just admit I was wrong. How about that?
Okay, no problem. Try, because you won't find it.
All right, let's find it. Okay, I think it's this one. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so yeah, it's here.
Okay, read it.
Hold on, I'm just reading it before I make any absolute claims. I'm just reading it really quick to myself. Yeah. Okay. So this is from Jalal Jalalayan.
Who's Jalal?
I'm on QuranX.com. It's just one of the commentaries for Quran 66 verse 1.
Okay.
So it says, "O
Well,
Prophet, why do you prohibit?"
It's not like did Jalal like did he live during the time of the Prophet? Or
I have
just
no
some
idea.
guy?
I'm Googling around. I'm trying to see where this claim came from because I was told this by somebody that I trust. Are you familiar
Okay.
with the story of Maria?
Maria?
Yeah, his Coptic slave girl.
Is this the? I thought her name was Zainab.
No, I guess it's Maria.
Okay,
Or
so
Maria.
now this. Okay,
That's the person that he allegedly had sex with, the slave.
And this is probably
Okay, so here,
continue reading.
O Messenger of Allah, in my house and on my bed. This comes from Tafsir al-Tabari on verse 60 or on Quran 66 verse 1. The narration comes on the authority of Zayd ibn Aslam, who was from the 3rd generation and not a witness to the events in question. So do you think that that's just not a correct narration then?
I mean, if he wasn't a witness, how could he say otherwise?
Okay, I mean, like, look, if you're just going to say that, like, that particular narration from that tafsir is incorrect, fine, but at least there is reason to think that this is a thing that's plausible, that plausibly happened.
Okay, but the thing is, look, I can only see the top half of your body, right? Would it be fair to me to say that it's reasonable to think you don't have pants on and you're a pervert?
If we were on a Zoom call, maybe, but no, I mean, like, my knee's right here.
Okay, but let's say you didn't do that, and because I didn't call you out for it, and because of the same way the prophet, he can't come, or the girl who was accused, she can't come and say, oh no, this didn't happen. For me to say just because I can't see your knees, that means you're a pervert. That's
look. So the point is the grifting explanation accounts for a lot of the things that the Prophet Muhammad is allowed to do, and a lot of the rules and regulations, from what I've read anyway, that are in place. Like it just checks out. Like why is Muhammad given special permission regarding marriage? Like it just seems like that there's a lot of stuff going on, and like being a prophet seems like it would be pretty pretty lucrative, right?
Okay, but here's a counter argument to that. Okay, so first of all, these rules and regulations were put by him. Before then, in his tribe, it was a disgusting tribe. You can sleep with as many people as you want. You can marry as many people as you want. You can literally unalive your baby. This was a disgusting tribe. So to say he became a prophet to get more women would contradict itself, because he put rules like against that.
But then
And
why
even
didn't he
if you
just
say
make
he-
it
even wait, hold
legal?
on, even
Why
if
is
you
it
were to say
legal
he
only
had
for him?
special rules, even if you were to say he had like exceptions from that, to say that would be his reason to lie about God, he could have just not lied about God at all and got more women and not got any accusations.
Yeah, but then he wouldn't be viewed as a prophet, and being a prophet is like super lucrative, right? I mean, surely you agree with that, because like that's what happens with like what is it, Mormonism? Like the Mormon church is super wealthy.
Yeah, but the thing is, he wasn't viewed at the beginning. He wasn't viewed as a prophet. People would throw stones at him. People would persecute him, persecute his followers. To say he did it for fame would be horrible as well, because most
Except it
of
worked,
his life,
right?
Well, actually, it depends on what you mean, because even at the end, he was betrayed.
It worked because nearly 2 billion people think he was a prophet.
You mean 2 billion or?
Nearly 2 billion. Isn't it like nearly? It's not like 2 billion yet, is it?
No, yeah, actually, I think you're right. Yeah, I think it's like 1.9. But the thing is, even then, he wouldn't even know though, because most of his life he was persecuted.
So
He was
look, just because he failed in something, perhaps he did. I'm not clear that he did, but just because he failed, I mean, no,
Depends on what you
obviously
mean
he
by
didn't.
failed.
He like had a whole bunch of successful conquests, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So like he clearly didn't fail. He clearly had a whole bunch of people following him, which means that yeah, he absolutely succeeded in his goal of being a prophet, if that was his goal.
Okay. So you'd have to. Okay. So what's your proof that he's not a prophet actually?
Given that we know that grifters exist in real life, that crazy people exist in real life, the priors for Muhammad being a grifter or a crazy person are much higher than they are for him being a prophet, because there are not very many prophets around, right?
Okay. Is this speculation or is this?
This is a
proof?
Bayesian argument.
Okay, so do you have actual proof?
Do you know what a Bayesian argument is?
What's a Bayesian argument?
It's basically an argument about how you form beliefs, or it's a style of argumentation that leads to credences and beliefs. And essentially, you examine the probabilities, and you examine what the evidence does to the probabilities, and you try to come to a conclusion about what is the most likely outcome given your priors.
Okay, so now do you have any actual proof that he wasn't besides a Bayesian argument?
A Bayesian argument the Bayesian argument isn't deductive. I don't think that there's probably any proof of like facts generally, but probably proofs about mathematics. But this is evidence, right? This is
okay.
A kind of evidence.
I have a better question.
Yeah,
Prophet
sure.
Muhammad, he said that. How many joints are in the body again? Because I can't remember. It was 364.
How many joints are in the body? I have no idea how many joints are in the body. Do you mean bones?
No joints. I think
Okay, I have no idea. How many joints are in the body? Apparently, it's not well agreed upon.
What's the average?
Between 250 and 350.
Okay, let me search this up. I said of an adult male. It says 250 to 250 to 350.
Yep.
But, with common estimates around 360.
Yeah, around 360.
Okay, yeah. So the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he said that you have 360 joints, and every time you wake up, you have to say praise for each one of them.
Okay,
So
well, fortunately, that's like an estimate. So like, and by the way, this is like really, really silly. You think that people didn't know stuff like how many bones and how many joints people had back then?
Yeah,
like
so
people had seen human bodies before.
Yeah. So the closest was I forgot what, but there was just one empire that knew something about medicine, but they didn't even know how many joints are. So you can try to search it up right now.
Literally, this is not some secret knowledge, right?
No, okay. The
Like
thing is,
all you have to do is look at a body and then count. This is not like some hidden super advanced scientific knowledge.
So even today they still don't know exactly, but you're saying 360 years
you
ago
could definitely come to an estimate. It'd be very easy to come to an estimate.
No problem. So the estimate today is 360, and the Prophet Muhammad.
Well, the estimate is from what I found, it's between 250 and 350.
Okay, let me turn on my camera and show you that.
That it's around.
It says 250
from the Cleveland Clinic, it says it's around 350. From Healthline, it says it's between 250 and 350.
Okay.
From Orthopedic Specialty Group, it says that there are 360. Apparently, it's not agreed upon.
Okay, look.
So, look, if we discovered that it was actually 355, would you recognize that Muhammad was a grifter?
I would think you guys are wrong.
Oh, okay. So then why are you bringing this up? If you're not willing to be convinced by evidence, why should I be convinced by the evidence that you're presenting?
Yeah, the reason why is because your evidence agrees with the Prophet Muhammad, which came way before.
No, it really doesn't. Like, in fact, so most of the websites I'm looking at, and again, these are estimates, are between 250 and 350. I've only found one place that says 360.
Okay, so when I search it up on Google right now, it says roughly 250 to 350. Then it says with common estimates, keyword common, around 360.
So why does it? So are we just using the AI overview here?
Yeah, I am. What do you want me to do?
Do you have a source for that, or?
Okay, let me see where the sources are. Okay, LIV Hospital says most adults have approximately 350, and not only that, but human body, how many?
Did you say 350?
Yeah, it does. But there's
okay, so that disagrees with Muhammad. So I guess Muhammad's wrong, right?
Yeah. So let me finish. There's other things that says that.
You
And
heard
by the
it here
way,
first,
this is an
folks.
estimate, by the way.
Yeah, Muhammad's wrong is what he said. He didn't say the Muhammad's wrong part, but I did ask if he's wrong, and you said yeah.
No, I said. When did I say that?
Literally 30 seconds ago.
Okay,
I can
what was
play
your
it back
question?
if you
Maybe I
want.
misheard you.
Maybe you did. That's fine. I'm not going to hold you to it, but you definitely did say that.
Okay, I probably
Here.
misheard your question then.
Okay, I don't need to replay it then. But look, so apparently, depending on which definition you use, adults have around 350 joints according to the Cleveland Clinic, which is a well-respected medical organization, by the way. Cleveland Clinic. Cleveland Clinic. Also, look, I have a question, Taha. So,
What's up?
you don't think that the Quran was preserved, right?
No, I don't.
So then, how can we rely on anything that's in here as accurately representing what Muhammad said or did?
Okay. I mean, it's a good question. So, basically, the reason when I say it wasn't preserved, it was actually changed. It was changed, and it was intentionally changed by people who are actually highly respected in the Islamic figure. Have you ever heard of Uthman or what he?
Oh,
did
you're
to the
talking. Yeah,
Quran?
yeah, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Uthman basically got rid of all of the stuff except his version of the Quran. I agree.
Exactly. And so, first of all, like the people, they knew like the Quran somewhat. So, for him to change like certain information, like would be fairly obvious. But what he did was remove some of the names in it. Okay, basically the family of the Prophet, because he kind of hated them and he wanted to steal power from them, and the people also turned their backs on the Prophet. So just
Okay, great. So you do think that like basically everything that's in the Quran though is true?
no, not everything, but most of it.
Okay, do you think that the moon split in two?
I mean, whether it actually split in two or it was just made to appear to, I don't know. It was probably just made to appear that way. Not
Well, so if
actually
it was
split.
made to appear that way, then other people should have witnessed it, but they didn't.
What do you mean they didn't? Who?
The Chinese. It should have been
Okay.
directly
Yeah.
overhead
So
for
no,
the Chinese, and
it was.
they recorded
It could,
basically everything.
yeah. So basically, it could have just been made to appear to the people who the Prophet was preaching to.
Okay, but to be clear, it like doesn't say that. It's just like speculation.
Yeah, no, just speculation, but
Okay,
yeah.
so we're allowed to speculate now about the Quran.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay,
what's wrong with
so
speculating?
okay, I'm speculating that he was a grifter.
Okay. Well, do you have any proof?
Do you have any proof that the moon was only appeared to split in two, rather than
Yeah, because
not?
okay, yeah, I do
appeared to
have
split
proof
in two at
because the
all?
Chinese, because the Chinese people didn't see it. There you go.
That's not proof that it only. That's not proof that it appeared to split in two. That's proof. That's evidence that it didn't split in two.
Yeah, it didn't physically split into, or to, at least to the whole world. But okay, so if some people claim to see it, but other people didn't claim to see it, then either those people were lying, or
Yep.
it was only made to appear to them. There
Yeah,
was two
and
outcomes to
so
that.
what's given our priors that moons
But
don't
let me, can I
generally just
continue?
appear to split in two,
Okay.
but people
Can I-
do
yeah,
lie.
they
We
don't
have good
generally
reason to
split
think
into two.
that the guy was
That's
just
why bad
lying.
comes. Okay, so look, we came with two outcomes, right? Either they were
Mhm.
lying, the eyewitnesses, or it was only made to appear to them. Okay, so
Mhm.
the only way to find out which outcome is true is to actually see or to, try to verify if the prophet is actually a prophet or if he was just lying about it. If we can verify he was actually a prophet, then we can.
Well, yeah. So this is a good example of seeing that. Oh, maybe he wasn't actually a prophet.
No, this is an example of let's see if he was actually a prophet to see if this is actually reliable to the people who actually seen it.
So can we use that exact same argument for any other claim, like where you say, oh, well, he knew about the 350 joints or the 360 joints or whatever? Can we use that exact same argument the other way and say something along the lines of, look, well, there are two explanations. One is that he got that information from somebody else, or two, he's a prophet, and now we have to go look somewhere else to see if he was a prophet. Wouldn't that?
Okay. Okay, yeah.
Doesn't
So
that just
then we're
work
gonna have
both
to find
ways?
out is if anybody actually knew that it was 300 whatever 350 360 whatever. Did anybody know that before him?
Well, the claim is yeah, obviously.
Who knew it?
Literally
Which
anybody
empire?
literally anybody who dissected a body.
Okay, so people are dissecting the body today, but they still can't find the exact amount.
Well, it's because there isn't an exact amount, right? It's
Okay,
different person to
so
person.
okay, it's different person to person. Okay, then no problem. So did anybody know that there was an estimate then back then?
Almost surely, yeah.
So search it up.
No, I mean just like anybody who dissected a body would have known this, right?
Okay, that's your claim. They could have
No, I mean
miscounted.
that's just like evident. That'd be like saying, well, did anybody know that people had livers back then? Like, of course they did. Anybody who dissected a body
but
would
there's
have known
only
that there
two
was a liver.
livers and they're pretty big. Joints.
No,
They're very
there's
tiny.
exactly
You
one
can-
liver, by the way.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about what's it called?
Lungs?
Yeah, no. We only have one liver?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. Let me search that up.
Ems, do you want to come up for the last 10 minutes or so?
Damn, I didn't even know that shit. So what do we have 2 of that you can donate?
Lungs. We have 2 lungs.
No, but there was something else that we have 2 of. Huh?
Kidneys. Kidneys.
Oh, we have 2 kidneys. That's
kidneys.
true.
There you go. That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
there you go. Okay. Okay, yeah. But the thing is, a liver is very big, and you only have 1 of it. While joints, they're very small. You can mistake it for mistake it for a bone, and you can easily get it wrong, especially if you're not
You
trained.
can't mistake it. No, you cannot mistake it for a bone that is number 1, number 2. The exact number is mentioned by the Chinese.
If you get closer to your phone, it's kind of hard to
That's
hear you.
just his
Can you
voice.
hear me?
I can hear you very slow.
The number of joints is mentioned by the Chinese 1,000 years before the Prophet. The exact number of 360.
Okay. So, did the Prophet have access to this information?
It doesn't matter. The point is, you're mentioning or you're saying that the Prophet could have only known this information through divine revelation. If you can show that somebody else knew this information at any point, you would debunk the idea that he had to have had divine information to know this.
Okay. That's a fair argument. I can get some other arguments too, though. Okay.
I mean,
Alright,
we
how
can simply just show you when the Prophet himself makes a mistake scientifically, and we would save each other time.
What was that?
We can just show you when the Prophet makes mistakes scientifically instead of what you're doing.
Yeah, no, because then you'd have to prove he actually said it, or if it was some bogus guy just lying about hadith.
No. It is in the Quran.
Yeah, the Quran could be wrong too. Like it
I
doesn't.
think the Quran could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm not a mainstream Muslim. The Quran wasn't properly preserved. It was burnt, and there's plenty of different Qurans today.
Then how do you know the Prophet said the claim about 360?
I mean, well, you'd have to judge, so basically, honestly, I'm gonna just tell you right now, like, if it's correct, in my opinion, it was probably true. If it's correct, if it was wrong, there's a chance it could be wrong. I know that's a fallacy in itself. That's a
Really?
fallacy
Is that
in
what we're
itself.
doing?
Yeah, I mean, that's just the best way I see it, though, if I'm gonna be honest.
Okay, so then, so your position is, so why should anybody take the claims that you make seriously when your claims are not falsifiable, even in your worldview?
Okay. Well, that's the thing, though. We're gonna have to find. Okay, how about Jesus, though? How do you know he wasn't an actual prophet?
I don't think he was.
How do you know?
I don't think people rise from the dead.
Okay, but people claim to seen it.
Yeah, people claim to have seen like the golden tablets of John Smith. That doesn't mean
but did they
Mormonism is
die for
true.
it? But did they
Yeah,
die for it?
literally, yes.
Oh, really? So how,
Yeah.
what was that all about?
That's the whole Mormon thing. The Mormons were hunted.
Okay, yeah, but I'm talking about the people who claim to see the gold tablets. Did they die for it?
I think John Smith was killed.
He was killed.
The guy
but
who
did
made
he-
the claim.
I know, but okay. Yeah, but the thing is, he wanted. But I'm talking about his.
I'm
his,
sorry, it's Joseph
witnesses.
Smith, not John Smith. Joseph John, they're the same person.
Okay, but how about the people who claim to see the gold tablets, not the person who made the claim?
So we can look at the why don't we, I mean, we could just look this up, but is this the standard that we need to have people be killed, not the person who makes the claim, but the people who claim to have seen that the claim was true? We need to have them be killed. Lots of Mormons were killed. I can go find the names of the witnesses to the golden tablets, though, if you want. We can look up whether or not they were executed.
So the difference is, okay, even with Jesus or the Prophet Muhammad, or
Golden plates,
Joseph
whatever they
Smith-
were. Okay, so there are 3 witnesses who saw the plates and an angel, and 8 witnesses who handled the plates directly. They all provided signed testimonies published with the Book of Mormon. Let's go see, were any of them actually executed or hunted? So let's look up David Whitmer. David Whitmer was, let's go scroll down to his death, because he did die eventually, right? I think that he died of old age, so he probably was not. Let's look up Oliver Cowdery. Oliver Cowdery was, he was excommunicated, actually, because he recanted. I think he was the guy who recanted, actually, which is funny. We have Martin Harris, who was one of the people who saw an angel, apparently. Oh, no, Martin Harris was one of the guys who stuck around. We have Joseph Smith Jr., Joseph Smith Sr. We have Hiram Smith. Samuel
It can't be
H.
his
Smith.
family. It can't be his family.
Oh, it
That's
can't
the
be
thing.
his family who died for it?
Yeah, because
Oh, yeah, okay, so Hiram Smith was one of the witnesses, and he was killed while being held at jail. awaiting trial.
Okay, and was he his family? You said Smith?
He was the second son of Joseph Smith Sr.
Okay, we can't do that because he
Why
gets a lot
not?
of benefits. Because he gets a lot of benefits from what's it called? Like status wise from what's it called? It's claiming that Joseph Smith is real.
So much so that he would go to his death?
I mean, some people for sure. I mean, some people kill themselves and they don't even unalive themselves and they don't even get status.
Okay, so now we're moving the goalposts again. That not only did they have to be a witness and not the original person, it has to be a witness who didn't get status from the claim. Okay, what about Christian Whitmer?
Exactly.
Well, no,
Okay,
I mean,
who
we're
is
just
he?
moving the goalposts, which is fine. Christian Whitmer, he was another person. Okay, it doesn't actually say how he died, but he died very young. He died at 37. So I don't know how he died.
The gold plates? What is the gold plates?
It's like what apparently Joseph Smith had revealed to him by an angel, and it had like the Book of Mormon written on it or whatever.
Let's say they did see it. What does it have to prove?
Then it means that Mormonism is true.
How does seeing a gold plate means true? He could have just got some
Because it
gold
was
and roses
inspired by
on it.
God. It was
Okay, so I
given
seen
to
the
him by an
Quran.
angel. That's
I
the
seen
claim.
Quran. Okay, wait. But he could have made it himself and said it came from an angel. Unlike being resurrected.
Literally, that's what literally Jesus or Muhammad could have done that for any of the
Okay,
claims.
I'm talking about
We could
Jesus
just say that they made it up.
resurrecting. Okay, how about Jesus resurrecting? That's not just like seeing a gold plate. That's seeing someone
Okay, so who
unalive
saw
and
Jesus resurrecting?
There was a lot of people, yeah.
Okay, who?
Okay. I mean, even his enemies seen it. What the hell?
Who? Who saw him resurrected?
Mary Magdalene, Peter,
Mary Magdalene.
Thomas.
So Mary Magdalene
She
saw
was,
him
she was the
resurrected.
first person he came back to, by the way.
Yeah,
She was the
sure.
first-
And
yeah.
so she was executed for seeing this?
Actually, I'm pretty sure she lived, but
Okay, so bad example.
okay, no problem. And was Let me just ask on my phone because my computer is a little slow right now.
Okay. By the way, supposing we grant supernatural anything, that still doesn't get us to a god. Right? Like, even if we grant souls exist, even if we grant that they're miracle men, how does that get us to a god?
Yeah, so Peter, he seen it, he preached it, and he was crucified upside down.
According to the Acts of Peter, right?
Actually, what's wrong with that?
Well, wait, is the Acts of Peter the one I'm thinking of with the talking door? One sec, let me check something.
Someone said yes, it is. Angry.
It is? Okay, yeah.
Angry
And the
Atheist said
wizard
it is.
duel? One sec. And so Acts of Peter, is that just, yeah, that's in Acts 12, 13 through 17. Yeah, okay. This is the one with the talking door. Yeah, you're right. And so where is Peter's execution laid out?
I mean, is this...
Where is it?
I mean,
in the...
you're saying it's in there. You should find it.
And I know, I'm finding it. It is a test... Oh, no. So Peter actually was... oh, okay, by Clement of Rome in 96 CE. Okay. So later texts, especially Acts of Peter, describe his tradition of being crucified upside down. So the upside down crucifixion thing is in the same place with a door that is talking.
Okay.
So I don't know how reliable that is.
Okay, but so...
Now, the fact that he was
okay.
executed is perhaps true.
Okay.
Absolutely, possibly true. But we don't know why he was executed.
We don't know why?
Yeah.
So do you think it's because he stole some bread or because he was preaching?
It could have been
Jesus
because he was
resurrected?
fomenting rebellion.
Okay.
Right?
How was
For
it?
the
How was
Thor Zeus thing.
That's crazy. That's actually cool.
It's really rad. I don't know what that is, but it's a lot. It must be. It's 34,000. Holy. That's a lot of gems. Like a lot of gems. Susie Waffle Stomp. Thank you so much. I've never seen that before. I've never seen a Zeus. That was really rad.
Yeah,
Anyway.
that was pretty cool.
So the claim that he was crucified upside down, that's found in Acts. which also has a talking door in it, so I think that we can probably dismiss it out of hand.
Dismiss his crucifixion?
Dismiss his crucifixion upside down and like the explanation for it that's found in Acts. Like, look, if you're telling me to believe something that's in a book that also mentions a talking door, I'm just not going to believe anything in that book. I'm sorry.
Okay, so if there was like a history book, right, and it's most of it aligns with everything else from other history books, but there's one thing that is off, would you automatically
I would discount that history book, yeah, and then I would rely on the other history books that don't have stuff that's like way off.
Okay. So
right?
Is that
like
the only place where it says? Is that the only place where it says he was crucified upside down?
Yeah, that's where the claim comes from. Yeah, the inverted crucifixion.
How do you? Let me search that up.
Well, at least it's the first. I should say it's the first. Tertullian also mentions it, but I guess it was after. So.
Okay.
I guess
so
apparently, so Tacitus mentions that Christians were suffering under Nero after a fire in Rome. I guess the claim is that Christians were being persecuted because Nero blamed the Christians for the fire in Rome, which aligns with Peter being executed. But it's not really clear that like the execution had anything to do with his belief or his refusal to recant Jesus' resurrection.
Okay. And how about Mary Magdalene?
But you said that she wasn't executed, so.
Yeah, but okay, so she wasn't family.
So she could just be lying, right?
Was she executed?
But you said that she wasn't.
I don't think she was, but let me just double check.
Nope, she wasn't killed. The Bible doesn't describe her death. Apparently she lived out her days, at least according to, Britannica, lived out her days in a cave as a hermit and died peacefully after receiving communion.
Yeah, okay. Well, okay. But the thing is, she still claims, we can say, So
but
why do you think these people... Okay, so you believe these people were all just lying about seeing him?
I think that I think that they were mostly mistaken.
And how were they mistaken?
Grief causes a lot of things to happen in the brain.
Oh, so maybe they hallucinated it? Him coming back and preaching it for like several years?
Well, I think a few of them may have. I think that a few of them may have, and then the rest kind of ran with the story. So
a few of them hallucinated him preaching for years. Because how long did he come back for?
I don't think he came back for years. I think he was back for like a week or something. Did Jesus come back for after the resurrection? 40 days.
Oh.
Welcome back, Ems. We've moved on.
No, I've been listening.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I assume you're at work, or maybe not. I don't know.
By the way, okay, I know a little bit about like the story of Jesus, at least talking about the Gospels. But so these people who seen him for 40 days, who were they? Who were the witnesses?
I don't know. I'm not a Christian.
Okay.
We could look it up. But look, I was never a Christian. Look, here's the thing. There's a claim in one of the Gospels. I could go pull it up if you want. That after Jesus resurrected, maybe it was right before Jesus resurrected, the graves or the tombs of the ancestors, the tombs of the the ancestors in Jerusalem opened up, and the dead roamed the streets of Jerusalem, right? So we literally have like zombies roaming around Jerusalem, and nobody wrote about it.
I mean, it could just be not true.
You're right. It could just be not true. But if these are the kinds of things that are being written here, why would I believe the other stuff?
No, but the thing is, okay, I understand there's a bunch of stuff that was like, there's a bunch of people who were just lying about Jesus. There were a bunch of people who were lying about the disciples, who were making up stories, gospels that came years after. But it doesn't change the fact that they were lying for a reason, okay? Because they seen that these things were blowing up.
Maybe they may have believed it. Look, the people who made this stuff up may have believed it. That doesn't mean that it actually happened.
So how do they believe it if it didn't actually happen? Like, because this is a big...
Because maybe they were told that it actually happened by somebody else, right?
Okay, how about... So who were the first eyewitnesses?
Look, so what plausibly happened is that like one or two people hallucinated this out of grief, and then they told their story.
There was like at least 11 people, because they were the disciples.
We have
also
stories. We have stories of some of these people, but we don't have executions from these people recorded anyway.
There are executions.
Do you mind if I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you believe that Jesus came back from the dead?
So, Mine's is a little bit different. I believe Jesus came back after a crucifixion. I don't believe.
So the Quran is
So
wrong.
wait, let me say something. I believe that Jesus' soul migrated out of his body, and this is actually mentioned in the one of the Gnostic texts. And Simon and Cyphres, this is mentioned in the text. He helped Jesus carry his cross, right? And as he was going in it, God asked him, who will take his cup in order to like reach his like almost his rank, right? And Simon and Cyphres said he would, and then Simon and Cyphres, he was crucified in Jesus' body, and that he was the one that said, he was talking on the cross, and Jesus he migrated into a different body, and the first person he came back to was Mary the Magdalene, but in a sense he came back from the dead, but he didn't really die. If that kind of makes sense, I don't know.
By the
you got
way,
this from
go
where?
ahead. Go ahead.
And where did you get this information from?
So it was mentioned in one of the Gnostic texts.
That somebody was placed in the body of Jesus.
Yes, it was mentioned in the Gnostic text.
Which text?
Let me try to find it.
By the way, apparently the only people who actually, like according to the stories anyway, witnessed the empty tomb were Mary Magdalene, Mary Mother of James, and Salome, apparently.
Okay. So.
And the rest just saw a guy who they thought was Jesus.
Okay.
So like 3 people witnessed the resurrection, right?
Well, no, 3 people seen an empty tomb, and a bunch of other people.
And the angels. No, I mean Simon Peter apparently went inside the tomb and saw the clothes, but that was long afterwards, right?
Long afterwards, what of his crucifixion?
After the resurrection, it was like not as it happened, right?
Okay, so
Didn't see the
that's
angels.
also like a account. Oh, the angels. What you're trying to say that like Mary seen the angels stuff?
Mary claimed to have seen the angels. Yeah, apparently.
Okay, that's cool. Like,
But she's also one of the ones who wasn't executed. So.
Okay, so what do you have? Why do you think? So do you think Mary was lying about this?
I think Mary may be hallucinated, which is super plausible, right?
No, I don't think it's that plausible to see all of this. Like,
apparently, this is actually really common, by the way, like grief hallucinations.
Okay, no, well, it's common
How
for people
common
to
are
go
grief
manic.
hallucinations? Okay, I'm just relying on AI here, but they're citing a National Institute of Health paper
Tell it to
found there.
define, but also tell it to
Apparently,
define.
30 to 60% of bereaved people report seeing, hearing, smelling, or feeling their deceased loved one.
Okay, so tell them to define also seeing, hearing, or smelling. But that's different. Hearing your loved ones, or smelling them, or even seeing them for like a couple seconds. How long do they see it? Ask it. How long do they see the
I'm looking at the study that it referenced, and it doesn't give me information about that.
Okay, so it's not
But like,
really
look. So it would be enough. It would be enough for Mary to have been at the tomb, and then she had like a brief hallucination, and she was shocked by it, and then she told people about it, and the story exploded. That would be enough.
But Jesus also came back and talked to her first.
She could have had that experience, absolutely.
Okay, and it's
The question is, did it actually happen?
So you look to just say all these things are hallucinations and mass people are hallucinating it. You'd have to have some.
Well,
proof.
no. To be clear, I think that a lot of it was made up. I think that.
I'm talking about the eyewitnesses, not the
Well,
hallucinations.
there's only like the one eyewitness. There's Mary, and then there's the 2 other women who
And
claimed.
no, we're not talking about the empty tomb. We're talking about Jesus coming
Oh
back.
yeah, but that's not an eyewitness of a resurrection. That's an eyewitness of a guy who they think is Jesus, right?
So you believe this guy wasn't Jesus and he was just claiming to be Jesus?
It could have. It seems more likely that it was an imposter than it was actually like a resurrected man.
So
That
how do
seems more likely.
What's more likely that it's an imposter?
Because imposters actually exist, and we've never seen evidence
No,
of
I
resurrection.
understand, but how do you know it's actually an imposter, not a resurrection?
Well,
or
because it's
hallucination?
more likely, right? Given that imposters exist in history, that's like a more likely thing.
So how
right.
often do people get executed and some random guy just comes and says, "Hey, I'm just the person who was executed"? How often
I think
is
it
that?
happened at least once with Nero.
Yes. And then they
Also,
went and
somebody in the
cosplayed.
comments makes a good point. They didn't recognize him at first.
Yeah, that's because he was in a different body.
So if he was in a different body, then it would be totally well explained by being an
How would you
imposter,
know?
because he would just be a different dude.
Okay.
Look, it is past my end time, so I'm going to end it here. But thank you so much for being here. You've been a very interesting conversation, Taha.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for the conversation, man.
And Ems, thank you for being here. I don't usually bring up Ems for help, but I was just, I'm hungry.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much for being here, bud.
It was an interesting.
Yeah, it was something. I've never met a Muslim like that guy anyway.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, take care.
Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, let's read some super chats and then we will end the live stream because I'm hungry and I need coffee. That was something. If he was in a different body, then like, of course they wouldn't recognize him. From Scottish, again with the 10 pounds, all worldviews you'd see, all worldviews you'd agree, assume all of the same, this is about tag again, assume all of the same axioms, ontological assumptions, transcendentals, but only one has a basis for them, theism. I'm a recent Orthodox convert from 10 years of nihilism. I don't think that that's true, that only one of them has a basis for them. And you'd have to show that that's the case. From a Dwayne Warren again with the $5, would you agree that people, oh, I already asked this, or I already read that. From Ifer Brennan with the $10, I'm a secular Buddhist. While all forms of Buddhism acknowledge deities, very few of them require you to believe or even worship any deity. Nirvana is not a place, but a state of being. Yeah, fair enough, I appreciate it. From Scottish again with the £5, everyone calm down in the chat. Naturalists can't ground the mind, let alone a soul consciousness. Bet. From Daddy Todd with the $10, I'm a believer in Buddhism. Buddhism is what happens when you merge Buddhism and Judaism, but it sounds extra funny if you're just really into booties. From Kieran Dave with the $5, I've converted to Buddhism now. Finally a philosophy for me. Fair. From Reverend Nate with the 2 Canuck bucks, Dr. Blitz's Boot-E-ism Emporium. Yeah, right? I should start that. I should start a store. And from Kerrigan, we have Bootyism. We squat to pray. Then we have from 49 Perfects with the $5. I speculate Muhammad was a friend of Epstein, if you will, and not a prophet. Yep, that's what I mean. I'm with you on that. And from Reverend Nate with the 2 Canuck bucks, it's a Festivus miracle. Ems has graced us. Yeah, he just hears it. It's just a bat signal, right? And from Solarion with the almost 3 Canuck bucks, Merry Christmas, chat. Well, Merry Christmas to you too. If you celebrate Christmas, by all means, have a happy Merry Christmas. I'm going to emphasize this again. Thank you, Susie Waffle Stomp, for so much. I don't actually know the math. I think 1,000 is $5, which makes this like $170. So thank you so much, Susie. That's an enormous gift. All right, let me just check my phone, make sure I didn't miss any. Looks like I didn't miss any. So y'all, it is that time. I am very hungry. I really need to go eat some lunch. So I'm gonna end the live here. I will see you guys on Sunday for more on a, wait, what's today? Today's Thursday, never mind, you'll see me tomorrow. I know it costs, wait, is it $600? Is it really $600? I can't do math. $340? Regardless, super generous. Thank you so much, Susie. All right, y'all. I will see you guys tomorrow.